Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTubers. Awesome people of the internet. To steal Quinta's line. We got the NBA draft tonight. Robin Lundberg and his schedule. Act Nation's phone is like going straight into voicemail, and he usually comes here on Monday night. So I don't know what's going on tonight. But I'm going to do the NBA draft. I guess it starts at 7:30. I have a feeling the first draft pick starts at 8. It's probably a half-hour build and crap going on. So I will take questions from the audience until, unless Lundberg or Act Nation show up. Rob's working. I saw a little bit of preview of the WNBA draft. They call it the orange carpet. What's the difference between orange carpet and a red carpet? I don't know. Besides the color. But I know Rakia Jackson looked good, and so did Kiki Arifin. That's all I can say. Some of them look like they were too masculine for me. They were in suits and stuff like that. But I like to see them in dresses. But I don't know. Hey, it's a draft. They're athletes, so play whatever they want. All right, hey David, Vadim, how are you? So we'll see what happens tonight. I think Dallas is going to take Paige, but I think the choice is harder than people think. Dominique Malunga looks like she's going to be a big star. At the very least, a future All-Pro. Whether she's going to be a future MVP or not, I don't know. But the chances of her being a bust seem like almost nil, given watching her athletically and her size and her personality in the interviews that I've seen, where she seems very mature and she seems very likely to win. Oh, here's Robin. Hey, Robin.
What's going on, man? How are you?
How are you? What's for dinner, man?
I just came from Wawa, actually. So a Wawa wrap. My son's daycare is right next to a Wawa, so he always has to go to Wawa right after.
I saw your son on screen earlier today.
Oh, that's my oldest. That's Roz.
I was flipping to the TV, and your thing came up, and I said, "Oh, let me check this out." And I watched it for a living. Your son came. You're teaching him how to project into the camera.
Yeah, because he wants to start a wrestling YouTube channel with me, so he's got to learn how to present.
So this is championship wrestling.
I mean, professional WWE wrestling. Yeah, professional wrestling. Yeah.
I wrestled in high school, and when you're wrestling in high school, that championship wrestling stuff drives you crazy because they get more attention. They're more famous than real wrestlers.
Well, yeah, but some of the real wrestlers have made like Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was literally the gold medalist at the Olympics.
Brock Lesnar, I think, he might have been a national champ.
He was the national champ in Minnesota, and then he went into wrestling, and then he became the UFC heavyweight champion, and then he went back into wrestling.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. That's right. He was successful at the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I grew up liking boxing. I grew up with Muhammad Ali and stuff like that. And then when Muhammad Ali got a little brain dead, which they said was Parkinson's syndromes, but he was really he's hitting the head too many times. I have a hard time watching boxing in Ultimate Fighting Championships. I can just see the brain damage every time someone gets hit in the head. Just I don't like to see the head-to-head collisions in football for the same reason. I know what's going on to the brain.
Yeah, Punch Drunk was CTE before we knew what CTE was.
Right.
Like, there's less of it in Ultimate. I'm not advocating for MMA like as a proponent necessarily, but there's less of it in that than boxing, just because you're taking less repetitive head trauma specifically because of all the other fighting tactics that are used. But yeah, boxing is the most dangerous sport that there's ever been. I mean, we've seen deaths in the boxing ring, and then obviously football, that cumulative damage on top of the big hits that you can take. But that was
except for maybe like hand gliding, stuff like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends on your definition of sport versus stunt, I guess.
So I lost interest in boxing, and then Floyd Patterson comes in, and he's the number one boxer in the world, but he was boring. His boxing style was boring, and he didn't fight some fighters in his prime when they were in their prime. And we missed on some good matches, and I thought he killed the sport the rest of the way. It was already dying. I think it was dying anyways. But anyways, the best thing to do is go watch Muhammad Ali fights when he was champion between 64 and 67. and you'll see the most amazing athlete you'd ever watch in your entire life with those bouts. You know, there's only like 10 of them though. And then they took the title away and he wasn't the same fighter after that. But anyways, so I'm a real wrestler. So I can't follow that world championship wrestling stuff, WWE. And it's not even real. So it's not even, to me, it's not even a sport. It's entertainment. But
well, no one's arguing that it's a sport. I'm a big fan, but I wouldn't argue.
They were pretending it was for years, and then they finally admitted, "Oh yeah, it's not. It's entertainment." Like nobody knew it was real. Everybody knew it was fake. But
well, yeah, but even like my kids know now, like, and they're kids, but we watch it together. Like it's not like it's under the guise or the veil of being real.
Right. Okay. I didn't say Floyd Patterson. Did I say Floyd Patterson? I didn't mean Floyd Patterson. I meant oh, what's his name? No, Floyd Patterson. I've seen his fight with Muhammad Ali, but I didn't see him live. I started following boxing with the Joe Frazier Muhammad Ali first fight. That's the first fight I saw that I could see. The other ones I had to go back and watch the tape. But anyways, there was supposedly some kind of weird draft or thing in the WNBA. So like 11th pick for 10th pick for next year. I don't think that's a big deal. What I think is a big deal is that I don't think Paige is quite so clear to be the number one pick as everyone thinks it is. I think she's going to be, but I don't think that's an easy decision. And I don't think that's necessarily going to be the right decision when we look back on it 15 years from now. I just think Dominique Malunga seems to have so much upside that it's kind of scary to pass her up. That's all I can say. It's scary to pass on Paige Bueckers. I'm not saying I would pass her up. I'm merely saying I keep watching more highlights of her and interviews her, and she seems really mature, which usually is the type of person that develops skill-wise, the mature individuals.
Are you talking about Paige or Malunga?
Malunga. No, I know Paige is going to be good. That's not, she may get injuries. She may be fragile. That's the other concern now. Malunga, I think they're both going to be great. I just don't think it's such a clear-cut decision. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, it's a clear-cut decision in the fact that it's already made.
We don't know that until they read her name off. You don't know it's made.
I am 99.9% sure that it is made. And then you also have to factor in the monetary aspect of it, the marketing aspect of it, which does come into play because Paige Bueckers is by far the most known player going into this draft. I would say number 2 is probably Haley Van Lith. But Paige goes in and your ability to sell more tickets, market the franchise and all that. Plus she is a terrific player, all goes up versus I'm not disagreeing on Malunga's potential. You see it. It's tantalizing, no question. And you could be right. 10, 15 years from now, she could wind up the better player. But I think the decision is an easy one right now, considering Paige is a proven player and Paige is proven to, draw more attention to the Wings franchise than anybody else they could take as well. I'm saying I would draft Paige too, but I would, in the back of my mind, I'd still be saying to myself, am I making the right decision? I'd still be saying that's me. If I was the general manager, the owner, whoever makes the decision for them, I don't think it's such an easy choice because of the, like you said, the tantalizing potential of Dominique Malunga. And it keeps seeming better and better the more I see of her and the more the interviews I see. And so, and 6'6", and she's not an awkward 6'6". That's what makes it so. That makes it different. 19, and she's healthy. Like she had no injuries that I know of. Paige has had 2 injuries, so we'll see. So we'll see what happens. She won't be good this year. At 19, she's going to have trouble with the league physicality at first because she's got to go up against the bigs underneath the basket. And I don't think they're going to call the game much tighter than they did last year, although I think they should. Well, I mean, look, there's in the NBA, one of the complaints is how tightly they call the game and selling for fouls and all that. I think there's part of the physicality that's appreciated on the WNBA level to that degree. But yeah, I mean, look, I haven't seen anything, but I can't pretend I know more than I do, right? Like I've seen.
Me too. I'm not saying that.
I've seen the quick highlight clips, and she looks fleet of foot, not like lumbering for a big, and obviously has the measurables. So you see that and you go, "Wow, what a prospect!" But then again, I've never seen her play a basketball game.
Wait, and here's her stats in the Olympics. I actually asked ChatGPT instead of looking them up, and She only played in 4 games, which means, but that was a year ago. So she could be, a decent amount better. She's 19 to 18. There's a lot of growth. She only played in 4 games, but she averaged 7.1 minutes per game, but 0.8 blocks. So you multiply that by 4, like 28 minutes a game, and you're already up close to 3 to 4 blocks, 2 rebounds per game, 2.8 points. You got to multiply all those by 4. That's not bad. So 45% from field goal percentage, but she didn't play much, so you can't really tell from it. So we'll see what happens. After that, I don't think there's a tremendous amount of talent in this draft. That's just me. I don't think it's a great draft after those 2.
Oh, no, it definitely seems like a depth draft. And one thing that's people don't realize, probably because a lot of new fans have come along, is draft picks don't really stick necessarily. I think 13 picks from last year were on the actual rosters.
Is that what it was, 13? I know they usually say it's a third, which is around 13.
So I believe that's what I read. Regardless, it's not a huge number. I mean, let's look at the Indiana Fever as an example, the most popular team in the league, right? They're going to pick 19, 20, and 33. What's the likelihood any of those picks winds up on the final roster? It's not great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've read that about a third of the draft picks make it in the WNBA every year. Now, of course, that's going to change because there's a new team this year and then 2 new teams next year, which is stupid. But we already talked about that, I think, before. I think they should do 1-1-1-1. But yeah, it's gonna. I think it's going to be not a deep draft in terms of like future first team All Pros and stuff like that. That's just my guess. Citron looks like a real solid player, but I don't see her being a superstar. I'm not sold on Kiki Ariafin. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Ariafin, yeah.
Ariafin. I don't think she should go third, but she might go third. And I'm not sure. Anissa Morrow's a great little rebounder, but she's little. She's 6'1".
Yeah, undersized at that position for sure. I mean, it's hard to. Georgia Amore has some potential, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't think there's a player that's like, oh my God, this is a camp. Hence why you saw so many teams trade. First of all, they knew players weren't going to declare because of the CBA, but the number 2 pick was traded out of. The number 3 pick was traded out of. The number 8 pick was traded out of. Just traded out of the number 11 pick to the Sky. So, and traded another first round pick to the Mystics. So a lot of teams have abandoned their first round picks.
I think this is the draft. Wait, let me pull up the draft order for you. Let me just see. Which one? Oh, here it is. There's a draft order. Is that on share now? Are we on there? Let me just see. Come back to the screen. You still there, Robin? Oops.
I am.
Oh, okay. This is the draft order. You can see that Washington has got 3 of the first 6. And Connecticut has a couple. Chicago has a couple down here. But here's the draft order. Fever are until 19th and 20th. And I guess they get one more in the 3rd round near the end. If I could make that bigger for people, I guess that'd be better. No, which one is that? Oh, yeah. Is that easier to read? Yeah. Anyway, So that's the draft order. So Washington has 2 picks. So I guess it doesn't matter whether they take Kiki 3rd or 4th. But I'm just not sold on her. Anytime they played against better teams, she didn't seem to play well. She had one big game against a lousy team that had no front court defense.
Yeah, no, she didn't impress me greatly. A lot of the players that impressed me the most are not in this draft, right?
That's what Rob keeps saying. The freshman and sophomore class and junior, that's where all the good players are.
I want Sarah Strong. That's who I want.
That's a surefire pick. She just has a pro game already. Not just her body because she's strong, but she has a smart all-around game already. And she's only, I don't know how old she is. I know she's a freshman if she's 19 yet. But whatever she is, she's young. So, yeah, she's a surefire star in the WNBA. Now, she doesn't have great size for a front court person, but she doesn't have to play. She's not going to play center anyways. She's probably going to play small forward or something in the WNBA.
Power. She can shoot the ball. She can pass the ball. Yeah. She's smart, like you said. She's got the all-around – she's got the all-around game. So, I have no concern about her translating. She catches well. She finishes well. She really has no hole in her game.
The person that should have concern is Juju Watkins because she might never win Player of the Year award again. The time she comes back healthy for a full year, that's going to be Sarah Strong's going to be a junior, and she's she's going to be tough by the time she's a junior, Sarah Strong.
Yeah, I mean, look, Juju, it's hard to doubt her too. I think those are the two prospects out there that are the best prospects across the country, period. Obviously, Juju has to come back from that injury, but I don't think that's going to change her status. She'll be the number one pick the year that she comes out. I think it's 2027. Though this could delay it, perhaps if she were to say redshirt next year, that's another option.
I don't think she's going to do that. I don't think she's going to do that, though. I just think she's anxious to get to the WNBA. Her game does translate because of her size and athletic ability. And I don't see her
but she could still do that and go out the same year. Like, she wouldn't lose her draft eligibility. She would just
I don't think she's going to stay for 5 years. Yeah, she may redshirt, but I don't think she's going to stay. But she still could be, play at the end. It doesn't have to take a whole year. Depends on the person, But with women, it tends to take longer, I understand. So, I don't even know what Cameron Brink is. I don't know when she's going to start playing. She's doing exercises right now. She's not cleared to play right now, I don't think, at this moment. But we'll see when the season starts.
So I talked to the hospital special surgery in New York. It's basically 9 to 12 months, roughly, depending on the person. But yeah, Cameron Brink, I think it said she's out on the court working out and stuff. She's not cutting and bursting and that kind of stuff.
Right. All right. So we'll see what happens, but I'm interested to see the picks after the first and second, because I think the first and second are pretty clear. And I am interested to see where Haley Van Lith goes, because she's been in there 5 years in college now, and she doesn't have great size, but she has a great all-around game for a guard. She could play either the 1 or the 2. And so I'm interested to see if someone wants to take a chance on her despite her size. So we'll see what happens. And what's her name? Who's the one? Here are the women, by the way, that they invited. I get rid of this. Georgia Moore from Kentucky. She's only 5'6". So she's an interesting prospect. Would you take a chance on her with her height or not?
I know the scouts are big fans of her. She seems like she's the next point guard to be taken after, if you're considering Paige a point guard. So I would expect her off the board by the 10th pick or so.
Before Haley.
Probably before Haley, yeah.
Yeah, there's this guy. His name is Hunter Cruz, or Cruse. Yep. And he supposedly follows women's basketball more closely than anybody else around. And he did a whole video on this, and he has it all broken down, which I can show you his take on that. So he knows more than he's watched more women's basketball than I have. But we'll see what happens with tonight's picks. But I think the ratings, in terms of the ratings, I think you're lucky if they get a million. I mean, what are they? I mean, by the way, I do have the ratings from the last 3 years. So I looked them up too, because I knew we discussed this. So here's where they were. They were 403,022, 572 in 2023, and 2.45 million last year. So it went up almost 5 times as much because of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, they'll beat 2023 though. It'll be less than last year, but more than 2023 for sure.
2023 was only 572, according to, if I got the ChatGPT right. So that won't be hard to beat, 572, because it'll get close. I'm sure they'll get close to a million.
Yeah, I think a million's probably about the ballpark number.
But there's no way it's going to be anywhere near it was last year. I don't think Paige has that type of pull. But according to that one guy who did, you never know what people are going to predict. Who's the guy that did a video that I just did on? He said that Juju Watkins would have got over 20 million if she was in the finals of the NCAA tournament.
20 million in what?
In the NCAA tournament. No. Yeah, it was ridiculous. In fact, if you looked at the ratings, the first 2 rounds, UConn outdrew USC the first 2 rounds. So if they eventually meet, let's say, I don't think USC was going to beat UConn anyways, but let's say they do beat them. The way it was going, the ratings were going to be less than it was UConn, because UConn has a bigger following than USC. UConn and Paige together has a bigger following than Juju does.
UConn has the biggest, they're the biggest draw non-Caitlin Clark and Fever. period.
In history, right? In history, they are.
Yeah. No, but I mean now too, like
I know.
More than any WNBA team, more than anybody else, it's UConn. Look, I mean, did it hurt the ratings? Would they have done a big number in the Elite Eight, UConn versus USC? Of course. And had the national championship game been closer, they would have had a chance to beat the Iowa LSU game. You know, if it was closer.
You mean the peak rating instead of the
given what their peak number was, if that had sustained, they would have had a chance. But you know, the whole Caitlin Clark thing, people never apply the proper context because it's always with or without Caitlin Clark versus in conjunction with Caitlin Clark. Of course, Caitlin Clark is the supernova event that changed all this and more popular than anybody else and blah, blah, blah. You know, if you don't accept that, you just aren't using your brain properly. But at the same time, it's not as if the numbers for the championship this year were significantly higher than they were pre-Caitlin Clark, right? Like, so yes, it may have fallen, but it fell to new heights. Same thing with the draft this year. It's going to fall without Caitlin Clark, but it'll be higher than it was before. And that's the idea of the rising tide lifting all boats, where you have the one boat that is higher than the other boats, but every other boat has come up a lot higher than it was before that boat showed up on the scene. So to act as if it's with or without Caitlin Clark, you know, denies the impact and the wake that she leaves. And I think ultimately her legacy is stronger if we're not just talking about Caitlin Clark in perpetuity forever, and we're talking about the way that the game grew because of or in conjunction with Caitlin Clark.
Right, but the ratings were actually had gone down since 2023 when there was a peak of 5.86 million in the UConn game, and then it kind of was between 3 and 4 million for years until Caitlin Clark came around, and then it kind of like jumped up. And then it jumped up again. So yeah, it's doing better than before, but it isn't that much more than say it was in 2002, 2003, in over a 23-year period.
But yeah, 2002 and 2003 is not apples to apples because of the way television's not. All ratings in general have gone down since those days because in those days you didn't have the internet the way it is now or streaming the way it is now and all the different fragmented ways that the audience can be separated.
Yeah. By the way, just so people know, I'll explain this again. The way Nielsen does their ratings didn't really change, but what they did is they were able to measure the out-of-home ratings, and out-of-homes are like bars and restaurants. So that went from like 65% to 100%. But the in-home ratings didn't change. They were already getting those ratings proper. So that 35% is not 35%. It's 15%, 10 to 15% of that in the regular season and maybe 15, 20% in the playoffs. So like an NCAA tournament rating, it's only around a 5 or 6% off. In other words, the ratings right now are 5 to 6% higher than they were before they added that 35% of the out of home, because that's only a percentage of the homes that are being rated because most of it's in-home stuff. So people think it was 35% off. No, it's only like really 5 or 6% off. So just so you know, I've heard podcasters say this and they're completely wrong because I said, what do you mean? That's only out of home. That's only out of home ratings that went up. So I went in, did some more things with ChatGPT and I figured it out. So just so you're aware of that. But the ratings are different right now. They're all inclusive with 100% of both in and out of home. So they're deceptive. Like when they went down by 22%, they really went down by like 26% this year. So they went down by 27%. They went down by more than they actually did. Did I lose you on that?
Well, I mean, look, to me, the moral of the story is, of course, they were down without Caitlin Clark. Right. But again, they're higher than they were before Caitlin Clark arrived on the scene, right? Like, you know, in the post Caitlin Clark era, that was let's put it this way. Since ESPN began carrying the broadcast, that was the highest rated non-Caitlin Clark game in history.
Right. By the way, when is Gino going to do his interview with Dan Patrick about how the league is too physical and, you know, for Paige and the MVP, you know, voting for her shouldn't be in the top 20 or whatever.
Well, I mean, but again, with Caitlin Clark, it always comes back to her popularity. That's really where the backlash came from, I think, more than anything else, is she was so popular and changed the dynamic so much and was so talked about and so discussed. And I get where some people would hear like she's the GOAT before she gets there. And especially when people would say, oh, nobody cared about that league before her, or they're all trash, whatever, like how that would rub somebody the wrong way. But regardless, she was such a phenomenon that there was almost like a threatening aspect to it, or whatever the wording is. And ever since then, I think people were trying to make excuses for the popularity. That's where the race stuff came into play and all that. Like, why is she so popular? Well, she's white. Well, she's not the only white player that's ever played. She's certainly not the only white, but with Paige is very popular, right? Like Paige is as popular as anyone not named Caitlin Clark. She, in the non-Caitlin Clark category, you got like Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, Asia Wilson, players of that.
I just showed you Paige and UConn had higher ratings than Juju USC in the first 2 rounds before Juju got injured. And she also, the 2 highest games this year during the regular season were both UConn games. One was against USC, but one was against South Carolina. So Paige had the 2 highest rated games this year in the regular season.
But she's not coming in like that. And
nowhere near, but
so there's much less. To me, it's more like, instead of like reality's coming, it's going to check you in the face. It's like, let's go Paige. And so there doesn't need to be this, spin the other way. And I think, I don't know, Gino, I covered a lot of UConn this year. I appreciate Gino's candor. I appreciate, his sense of humor. Obviously the guy's a great coach. Could he have take that one back? Yes. Was that a big swing and a miss? Yes. But, ultimately.
That was like striking out 6 times in 1 inning. That's what that was. Let's be honest. That was really, it really makes him look stupid and bad. He called other people stupid. He looked stupid because they make no sense. He makes it sound like every woman that went into the WNBA was this hulking monster, because Caitlin Clark was not even wimpy last year. Forget about the fact that she built up. And then look at Paige. Why are we saying that about Caitlin when he knew Paige was wimpier than Caitlin? He knew that. He knew that when he said that, he knew it. So why would he say something like that? It was just so stupid. It might have been the stupidest comment in sports ever.
Again, I think it's, a little bit of a backlash to the hype. But Caitlin, one of the things that's undersold is how athletic she is, how special an athlete she is, right? Like, she sees the court like nobody else. She shoots the ball, all that stuff. But she's different physically. The way she moves, the way she can finish around she shot better at the rim than any guard in the league last year. In fact, she shot better at the rim than Asia Wilson shot at the rim last year. So
for her height, she was number 1, it said, and then she was like 5th in the league overall.
Yeah. So like, she's strong. I mean, yeah, she put on some size, but one of the things, but she goes fast. She's explosive, all that stuff. She may not have the highest vertical leap per se, but her athleticism as a whole, or how special she is as an athlete, gets undersold. I mean, look, how many goals did she score in soccer when she was playing soccer? This is not a normal run of she didn't just get to where she was getting because of uncanny knack for the game. That surely helps and puts her on a different level, but she's a special athlete. I mean, that's
I agree.
Where she's starting from.
If she had quit basketball after her freshman year instead of soccer, I believe that she could make the women's national team this year. I believe that that's how good she looked like she was in soccer, from what I understand about her freshman and sophomore year. But who knows? Maybe she had more natural talent for basketball. I mean, she's 6'1". She's 6 foot. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we'll see. I wish Paige luck myself. I don't have anything against her. I think she's a nice young lady. I think it'd be great if she's really good. I think that's a nice rivalry with Caitlin Clark. And it would really help the WNBA grow if the two of them, go head to head a lot, especially in the playoffs. Right? No.
I mean, and you have a guard there too. So it's not
right. It's a better matchup.
Yeah, there's a natural, people. One of the things I find funny is when people recoil at rivalries. That those are good for sports. I mean, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is good for the game. When
any rivalry is good as long as it's not hatred.
Whenever you just don't want it to get ugly or fans to take it in the wrong direction or whatever. Right. But the fact that the games are more anticipated is good for the business. It is a business. And Chicago Sky and India, as well as Indiana Fever games did, and Indiana Fever games did better than anybody else's games, no matter who they were playing. We see the venue change no matter who they're playing. The numbers were still
6 out of 12.
They were still higher when they played the Chicago Sky. So, right. you can't ignore that aspect of things. And then the same should go theoretically for the Wings and Paige Beckers, because you're going to have more interest around those games when Dallas plays Indiana. Not to mention they got Dejanay Carrington and Melissa Smith over there. So there's some subplots beyond, just the Paige matchup. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's good for the sport. And I think, this new wave of players that's coming in with this new wave of fans that's here is only going to continue that crescendo, because, think about the Olympic team in 2028, as much as the controversy was in 2024. But when you close your eyes and picture who's coming off that plane in LA for the Olympics, that is, one of those moments when you're going to have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Paige Beckers and maybe Juju Watkins and
Juju Watkins already on the team. Don't be silly.
Well, she should be if she's healthy. I mean, I know. I'm
just saying she's already on the team.
But that's that new generation, that new wave of players that people came into the game with, because that was the other stupid thing about last year is it was always that attitude of, some of those folks had the attitude like they liked the band until it got popular. Right.
I hate people like that. Either they're a great band or they're not.
Yeah. So the band got popular and there's new fans. Yes. Sorry. They didn't pass a quiz where they couldn't tell you Cynthia Cooper's stats from the past or whatever other thing you wanted them to do. They didn't know, but they came into the league. They enjoyed the league. Some of them followed it unrivaled. Some of them stuck around to watch the national championship game this year. And that group of players that's coming into the league in the midst of that is only going to benefit from it, because they're going to have more attention, more notoriety. I mean, look at Paige Beckers this year. Aside from Caitlin Clark, when's the last time a WNBA draft pick had as much attention as Paige Beckers is getting right now?
I didn't follow the WNBA that close, but I would say Breanna Stewart must have got a lot when she came in, and Asia Wilson must have got a lot.
I think a lot of people learned who Asia Wilson was last year.
Well, people knew Breanna Stewart was
from college.
4 championships and 4 MVPs and 3-time player of the year. People knew who she was when she came in. So there was some Candace Parker, but that's even before that, had a lot of push when she graduated. I think it helped that she was attractive and Breanna Stewart wasn't, so there wasn't much push for her. I think it helps a little bit, believe it or not. So, but I would say the thing here is about the fans is people criticizing Caitlin Clark fans is what they don't realize is they're not any worse than any other fans. There's just way more of them. So you're going to hear more negative things because percentage-wise, it's the same number of trolls. It's just a lot more trolls because she has 5 times more fans. So she's going to have 5 times more trolls.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing
what's going on.
Yes, of course. I've always said that. And the trolls, some of them aren't even following the game or whatever. They're just capitalizing on the attention and the momentum and the ability to get engagement from it. But having covered the NBA as long as I have, some of the, softness that I've seen from the women's basketball community is astounding, because some of this, is just regular run-of-the-mill stuff. Not saying anyone should be of course, no one should have hateful, mean-spirited, racist, sexist, any of those things thrown their way. Of course not. Full stop. But like the discourse and the jokes and the critiques and all that stuff flies over there that, you get memed as soon as you lose a game. Or LeBron James, arguably the greatest athlete of our lifetime, has been scrutinized over and over
every
again.
Day, all day.
Oh, yeah.
Male athletes been crapped on since 1850s. Yeah. In the newspapers, the baseball players back all the time, and then on the radio. Then it was television. It's just different levels of media, and now it's just more media, and that's what it is. That's all that's happening. But the women weren't used to it because they weren't getting any attention, obviously. So there was a lot less coverage. So there was a lot less criticism, and they just weren't used to the criticism. That's all that's taking place. So it's not any. They're just more sensitive for some reason. And then they're on social media. If they get off social media, it won't feel so bad. That's what they got to do, is they get on social media. I had a few questions that you weren't here for those weeks, but I think they're really good questions. So I'll ask them again. My first question is, who do you think is going to end up being Caitlin Clark's biggest rival, and who's going to be her second biggest rival if we look back at it from 20 years from now? Like Napheesa Collier, Asia Wilson, Juju Watkins, Paige Beckers, whoever, Sarah Strong, who do you think's going to end up being her biggest rival by 15 years from now when you look back on it?
I can't say anybody other than Angel Reese.
And of course, Angel Reese is one of them. That was
just because
that one.
She look, okay. Not to say that that's a guarantee, but the head start is so far that that's if true. I'm to pick somebody, that's the one I'm going to pick because of the story behind it too. Now, I do think Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark is a thing. That would be number 2, because of Asia's status as a player and where Caitlin's attempting to go. And then I think if you're rounding out that list, you're looking for somebody who plays the same position. And you would hope Paige Beckers is good enough to be. So right now I would say that's probably the top 3: Angel Reese, Asia Wilson, and soon to be Paige Beckers.
I will say that if Paige plays more like when she was a freshman, which is what people are hoping and saying, I think she could be a great player. She just needs to be more assertive and not be afraid to take a shot, not be afraid to make a pass that's not 100%. You know what I mean? A little bit flashy, but what just high risk, high reward once in a while, a little bit, not trying to be 100% efficient. And I think if she does that and she loosens up, she's got a lot of potential if she stays healthy. She's a good defender. She's a better defender than Caitlin Clark, obviously. And she's got nice long arms and everything. And she's got a skinny frame, which is maybe bad for the WNBA in some ways. In other ways, it gives her a lot of endurance because she's not carrying around a big body. So she can play hard. She can play fast. So, by the way, I'm hoping, Robin, that this year they call the game a little tighter in terms of calling more fouls. So it's not such prison ball this year. I'm hoping for like the next 10 years, they called it like a little tighter, a little tighter, a little tighter, a little tighter, a little tighter. And so that these guards that are coming in that are exciting get to shine more.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll see a natural evolution. I like the physicality to a degree, though. Like it's
really?
My biggest complaint about the NBA sometimes is like people become foul merchants and they'll sell out for contact. Like I didn't see. Look, what Kennedy Carter did was a whole different deal, right? Like that was not a play. She ran over and
well, that doesn't count. That's not what I'm talking about.
But in the midst of the game, I don't mind them mixing it up a little bit. You gotta play through that contact. That's why CC got stronger.
Yeah, but it turns out to be dirtier basketball. It turns out to be uglier basketball for me. I just that's one of the reasons they miss some of these layups. Some of the now I'm not talking about the layups where they're open or semi-open. I'm talking about the ones where they drive through and a foul's not even called. But it looks like they missed the layup when they were just fouled. And I talked about that in a video. So I don't like those type of things where they get away with things underneath the basket, which are clear fouls that just don't call because they're allowing too much physicality. But that's me. I like a cleaner game. I don't like it like the NBA right now during the regular season where there's not enough defense, but I think the WNBA is just too far for me. And a lot of other people have complained about it too. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I didn't see it as like egregious per se, but more attention. Sunlight's the best disinfectant. So any problems that they have are going to be probably illuminated and then
I have to address this.
Yeah, that's part of what I'm talking about too. When you start over calling it, you slow it down and you get all these whistles in there.
Okay, I don't think this is a good argument. I'm going to tell you why. If you start calling it tighter, they'll stop making the fouls, and then they won't have to keep calling the fouls because they'll adjust their defense based upon the whistles. So I don't think this is a good argument. I really don't, because people clean it up naturally because otherwise they'll be in foul trouble. So all you got to do is call the game tighter, and they'll stop doing it. So I don't agree with this argument. It's not going to be a million whistles. It's only going to be more whistles when you're trying to clean up the game for half a season or a quarter of a season, whatever it takes. It doesn't take long for them to get the message when they're getting 5 fouls in no time at all. They could do it in 10 games. So I don't agree with that theory. I'm sorry.
I just didn't see it as that big a problem. It didn't stand out to me as like a real issue for the most part. Like just call the fouls when there's fouls. Caitlin Clark didn't get the best whistle last year. There were some times like she got, hit pretty hard. And,
the worst whistle I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So call the fouls. But other than that,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Just call the fouls. If they call the fouls, it will be less physical naturally. They're not calling fouls that are fouls.
I don't mind. See, I guess that's where I'm saying. I don't mind the physicality and the game being a little physical in nature. A blatant foul is a foul. You got to blow the whistle.
They're not calling those either, Robin. That's why I think people are saying prison ball. Yeah, the physicality, a little bit of physicality. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. All right, here's another question that I asked that you weren't around for. I'd like to hear your answer. Who do you think of all the second-year players, besides Caitlin Clark, obviously, will have the best career?
Second-year players.
Yeah, like 15 years from now, you're going to look back and see who had the best career.
From the draft last year.
Correct.
I mean, I think it's
a hard question. That's why I asked.
Because I would break it down to Angel, Aaliyah Edwards, and Rickea Jackson, I think. I haven't seen Cam Brink play enough. So
that's why it's a hard question, too, because she only played about, 10 games? Or
it's hard for me to evaluate her because I didn't see her play.
Camila Cardoza didn't get
Cardoza also, there's not enough tape on necessarily. I think Angel almost gets a little underrated now because she got so over criticized versus what she did do, which is rebound at a historic rate, play versatile defense, and has the chance to get better. I'm a big fan of Aaliyah Edwards, and I think Rickea Jackson is a really talented scorer. So I would put it between those three probably if I'm
it's interesting. It gives you five people because I think you have to throw in Cameron Brink and Camila Cardoza. So it's like 5 people could potentially be the second best player coming out of that draft. I agree with you. It's pretty cool. Edwards, I didn't see her play enough last year. I know that she destroyed Brianna Stewart in the one-on-one contest and made it to the finals. But during the regular season, the times that I saw her play, she didn't play a ton of minutes. And I thought she was pretty good, but nothing special. But we'll see what happens. Rickea Jackson, same thing. I'm confused. Rickea Jackson, I looked at her college numbers, and she was first team all-conference her junior and senior year, but she didn't even make third team All-American. And I'm kind of surprised by that. Like when the draft came up and they said, okay, Rickea Jackson's going to go like number 4 or 5, I go, who's she? I didn't see her in the All-American list when I saw who made All-American that year, and I hadn't seen Tennessee play that year. I missed.
How did Tennessee do that year? I mean, I'd
have to look it up, but that's
women's college basketball is a little skewed by like how your team does.
I know. I looked up her numbers, though. Her numbers were fine. So to make third team All-American at least, she was probably honorable mention. I don't know. But she didn't make third team All-American, and then she came out of nowhere to be like 4th in the draft. I thought Rob and I talked about this. We thought Angel. We didn't like Angel, but we thought she should have gone 4th. We thought she should have gone right after Camila Cardoza. That's where we thought she should have gone. We were surprised she went 7th. With J.C. Sheldon and Leah Edwards both went before Caitlin Clark and before Angel Reese. So did Rickea Jackson. Like 3 people went before that I didn't think should go before. So we'll see what happens. Who ends up with the best career? But I think she proved some people wrong for going. She went 7th.
She definitely looked like a steal at 7. Let's put it that way. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean you can't count Cameron Brink because he got injured, so we don't know what would happen. So I thought it was an interesting question. There was some, Ken Swift pointed out that in his article that in his column that Paige, there's the expectations for Paige seems to be completely different. And there's no there's this big jump from the WNBA to college.
That's because everybody, whether they admit it or not, everybody knows Caitlin Clark's the truth and Caitlin Clark's the bar and the standard. They do their articles and they use her name. Even when they're making the point that she's not important and she didn't do all this, they use her name to make that point, right? Like the league didn't need Caitlin Clark, or it didn't need Caitlin Clark. And the same thing goes for this. Yeah, the red carpet is being rolled out. It's not as much of a big, because there's not this force that's coming in that's making everybody react in kind. So whenever Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers win a championship, she's got a championship. Caitlin Clark doesn't. Why are you bringing up Caitlin Clark? Because that's the real truth of the matter. So even Caitlin Clark's biggest supporters know, Caitlin Clark's biggest detractors actually know. And that's, heavy is the head that wears the crown in a sense where, of course, it's not the same as it was for Caitlin Clark because she's not the same as Caitlin Clark.
So we'll see. We'll see who ends up being underrated and overrated in that draft. So this draft last year turned out to be really good. It will be interesting to see the draft this year, how it ranks, because we haven't gotten Gino's opinion on it. He thought last year was in the top 10 because we all know this because the highest draft pick by UConn was 6, and they didn't have anything much after that either. So we'll be now UConn person is number one. In his eyes, and suddenly the draft is stronger. But I will be interested to see how it ranks with the other drafts because last year's obviously was a very strong draft. It turned out to be. So I think they got two surefire stars, and after that, I'm not convinced there's any stars after that.
Well, I mean, I think part of what holds it back a little bit is, again, you had a lot of players who decided not to come in who were eligible because they know the CBA. So Olivia Miles isn't in the draft. Lauren Betts isn't in the draft. Those are players who could have been.
So could have Flajay Johnson.
Yeah. So
she might be better than those two in the long run because she's really athletic and she's gotten better every year. Like she really jumped from freshman to sophomore to junior year. She had a big jump there. So,
but Betts is probably the favorite to be the number one pick next year, I would imagine.
I'm just thinking real quick before I agree with you on that. I would imagine too because Hannah Dago is a junior and Juju's injured and a junior, and yeah, it looks that way that she'll be the favorite next year. But I don't know who else was going to. Who knows? So maybe some senior goes back. So let's talk about the transfer portal a little bit. So what did you think of Tanaya Latson going to South Carolina and Fowiley leaving South Carolina? Tell me your viewpoint on that.
Well, I think for Latson, it's a great move, right? That's exactly what South Carolina needed. She won't fly under the radar with the Gamecocks. The Fowiley thing is interesting because there was a weird dynamic there with Dawn Staley and Fowiley. Whether fans there wanted to admit it or not, maybe they can admit it now that she actually went to the transfer portal, where Fowiley was the most exciting player on that team to watch, but came off the bench.
Might be the most exciting player in the country after maybe Hannah Dago.
Yeah, came off the bench and didn't have that much of a leash with Dawn. And you thought, okay, Dawn's just developing her. But then Latson comes in and Raven Johnson comes back. And you're like, oh, where does that leave Fowiley? And I think that's part of the issue that South Carolina had this year specifically is Dawn Staley is the star of that program and team. And that's not bad for the program overall because you can't refute the results, right? Like you can't refute what they've been able to do. But at the same time, they didn't have that player on their roster this year that was good enough to carry them in those situations. And you thought maybe Fowiley could become that player. Clearly, it wasn't going to work out for her there. So she's going to go somewhere where she can thrive or attempt to thrive, and we'll see what she's really about. But I do think Latson is going to fit in very well there. And I don't know if it was, the flash that Fowiley played with or she got out of control. I wasn't watching every possession, every game. But
she sometimes had turnovers.
Yeah. And Dawn is like a point guard, she feels like a very old school point guard kind of deal. So there was just a clash in ideologies and approach, and I don't know about attitude or whatnot, but it just wasn't working.
So what I did is I looked up Dawn Staley's assist to turnover ratio to see if she was like a risky pass. In college, they didn't have turnovers back then. But when she's in the pros, she had a nice assist to turnover ratio. It was over 2.1, slightly over 2.1, 2 to 1. So she was not a risky, I guess she was, according to the stats. I can't remember her playing that much. But I think that Tanaya Latson and Dawn Staley must have had a conversation because Tanaya Latson doesn't want to go there and play 19 minutes and get 5 shots. So I think there was a conversation to understand, listen, I'm still going to want to get drafted next year, and I'm not going to get drafted next year if I average 12 points with you or 10 points with you. So I think there was a conversation. I think that Dawn Staley said, you know what, maybe I got to adjust my attitude towards this because I want to win next year. They didn't have any stars that could really score. Connecticut had 3 stars that could score better than them on a consistent basis. And that's why they lost the game. So I think Dawn Staley gave in a little bit in terms of saying, okay, yeah, you're going to have some freedom. I think there was a conversation. I'm just guessing. I know if I was Tanaya Latson, I'd have that conversation with Dawn Staley before I went there. That's me. But unless she's just going for a title, I think she wants to play in the WNBA, and I think she's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Latson, she really took it to Hidalgo in one of those games I watched. So I don't think I don't think it's going to be the same sort of clash of styles. I think they needed somebody that could score the ball, and that's what she's going to bring to the table, and she's going to do it in a more traditional fashion, probably than Dawn was looking for from Wiley, who, you know,
Right.
even in the SI piece that came out, they talked about, you know, Wiley having like mixtape tendencies, which was like, whoa, you know, are you all throwing out a hit piece in a disguise as a
Mixed,
fluff
what's
piece?
what mixed? What kind of tendencies?
Mixtape tendencies, like, you know, highlight tape, like and one kind of, you know, like
Right.
Wiley has that sauce. You know, she plays with that sauce and pizzazz. Latson's not that kind of player, so I don't think there's an issue with the amount of shots she's going to take or anything like that.
Well, she's not going to get as much free reign as she had at Florida State, but she's going to get more free reign than the other people on South Carolina, because I think Dawn realizes that's how that player thrives. Because you saw her, she can take over games, and she's fast, and she likes a fast break. So we'll see what happens. I think Dawn's going to be more flexible with her, because I don't know if you know Act Nation. He has that theory, and I agree with it, that Dawn Staley doesn't develop guards. We got one guard in the last since 2008 that have made it big in the WNBA that came out of South Carolina, Alicia Gray. Of the 22 guards that made the All-Star team or All-Pro, one was from South Carolina and none were from UConn. And that's 22. 6 were from Notre Dame. 6 were from Notre Dame. So he says she doesn't develop guards, which is really weird because she was a guard. So
yeah, no, I mean, they definitely were known for posts and bigs. Leah Boston, Asia
right.
Wilson, you know, that's Camila Cardoso. That's what you think of with the players at South Carolina.
Right. So we'll see what happens. It is interesting to see where Falwell goes, whether she's going to go with a competitive team that could have a chance in national championship, or she just wants to flourish her game, you know, a la Caitlin Clark, and, you know, maybe not really have much of a chance of a national championship, but gets to run the show. We'll see. Maybe she'll go where there's another great guard. She could go to Notre Dame. She could go anywhere where they have a great guard. They could play with Olivia Miles, maybe. Who knows? She could go to Oklahoma and play with Aaliyah Chavez, the number one recruit coming in. She's more of a shooting guard. Aaliyah Chavez is a passer and a scorer. That'd be a nice backcourt. So we'll see what happens. I have no idea where she's going. I know NLL money has a lot to do with it, so that's why we can't figure out where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at, definitely dictating some of these moves for sure, at least playing a big role in it.
Right. So do you have to go at 7 sharp? Are you going to go live for the draft?
I'm not going live, but I do have to go shortly, regardless.
I know. Fine. Go whatever time you go. You got to go. I figure you had to go 7 sharp because I thought you were going to go live for the WNBA draft. So
well, I'm coordinating a bunch of coverage of the draft. So besides just my live YouTube stuff, I've got a lot of written coverage I got to coordinate. So I do have to bounce here in a minute.
Whenever you got to do, just mention your channel again before you leave, and then that's good. So everybody knows who you are though on this channel. But
yeah, Robin Lundberg over on it's the Robin Lundberg channel. That's just simple.
Easy to find, Robin Lundberg. All right, just wanted to make sure you got a chance to promote your channel. So we'll find out tonight. I think that whoever gets drafted by the Fever probably won't make the team. They only got 11. They got 11 and a half spots. That's what they have, right? And
they have. It's going to be 11 players that they're starting the season with. They've got 12 under contract right now. 10 of them are basically locks to make the team. Right. 2 of them are on training camp contracts. Throw in the 3 draft picks. Now maybe one's a stash or something, but regardless, whoever comes in is competing with those other 2 all for 1 spot.
1 spot. Or they can maybe 1.5 spots. They could say, okay, we'll put you on whatever. You can come back in half a season when we have money, because they can do that. They can add a 12th player because it's all prorated at that point. And I think they got 112,000 and at 66,000. So they about a third of the way through the season, I think they can pick up another player. Then they can have 12. So that'll be okay, because as long as you have it for the playoffs, it's okay. As long as you have 12 players. And I don't even know if you need 12 players unless you get a lot of injuries. That's the only time it's a problem, when you have 11 players instead of 12.
And there's little quirks where maybe they could pick somebody up as the season goes along. But as far as starting the season with the way the cap is, when you look at how much cap space they have and what the minimum salaries are, they're almost certainly going into the season with 11.
Oh, they are. They have. There's no way around it, as far as I can tell. They got 66,000 for a minimum contract and 112,000. And that's with 10. That's for the 10 that they have. So they're going to take one and say the other one, hey, we can add you after like 15 or 20 games or something like that, about a third of the way through the season, because that's all they're going to have left. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. And then it'll be interesting, like, what happens, by the way, do you know, like, people have contracts, right? And they have a new collective bargaining agreement. What happens to the contracts that existed before with the collective bargaining agreement? They're still in existence. Can they automatically bump up their salary if the new collective bargaining agreement makes all the other salaries go up? So, for instance, Caitlin Clark, $75,000 for the next 4 years. They get a new collective bargaining agreement. Or third and fourth year, that automatically gets bumped up, even though the contract is still good. It's not void, right?
Just I guess all of that, I don't know if there's retroactive parts of the CBA negotiations or whatever. I guess that's all on the table, right? When you do a new CBA and collective bargaining agreement like that, right, basically all these topics can probably be broached, because it would be odd if all the salaries going forward increase and everybody who was there is on the short end of the stick.
Right. So, well, if you have sources that can figure that out for us, I've never really analyzed it that deeply with a league before. Like I've actually followed a little bit when the football did it in basketball, but I didn't follow the salaries that existed and really in my head, because I didn't have a YouTube channel. But if you have any connections to figure out what that's, because people were saying, oh, these contracts go void. They're not going to be void. They're still attached to the team, but their salary may get bumped, because it's not unfair for them. It'd be unfair to Caitlin Clark to make less than a rookie coming in. That wouldn't be fair.
I guess we're gonna get all those answers before, but I'll look into. I'll let you know on the next one. I do got to roll though.
Okay, great. Hey, thanks for showing up tonight, and enjoy the WNBA draft. And I did see an orange carpet or something real quickly, and all I know is that Rivalries Jackson looked great, and so did Kiki.
Yeah, a lot of people. The fits are a big part of the draft night.
Some were in suits though, which I wasn't into, but that's okay. All right, cool.
All right, see you.
Thanks, Robin. Cool. See you later. Yes, the 7-foot Chinese girl. Mark, I don't know if I don't think she's declared for the draft yet, but I know she's old enough by next year, right? Isn't she 18 or something? And she just has to be, I think she has to be 20 the year of the draft. So yeah, if she goes, she's not as mobile. She's not as mobile as Dominique Malunga. She's not as mobile as her, but she's also 11 inches tall. She needs to lose a little weight. She's got kind of a wide body, though. She's not really fat, but she needs to lose a little weight. Otherwise, she's going to get tired after just a few minutes of playing. That's just my feeling. I've seen her, and she does have some – I think her parents played basketball. I think she's got real basketball skills for someone who's that big. She's not just like pick it up and dunk it. She actually had a little bit of skills the highlights that I saw her play. So she's an interesting prospect. 7'5" is 7'5". That's kind of scary, 7'5" for a woman player. That's tall and we're not sure she's 7'5", but she could be. She's probably at least 7'4". So they weren't sure of Victor W's height. People were saying he's 7'5", and he got measured. He was 7'3.5". So we'll see what she is. But what's the difference? 7'5", 7'4". Who cares? When in a women's league, that's really huge. So how do you guard that? I don't know. I don't know how you guard that. So the problem is that she won't be able to play, 35 minutes. She just doesn't have, she's too big a body. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know why. Does anybody can tell me why they call it the orange carpet instead of the red carpet? Is it because it's sports it's called the orange carpet? I don't know. I just turned it on. I was watching something on YouTube and it came on, and Rivalries Jackson was the co-host with some other woman. I didn't recognize her. She was they said her name, but I can't remember. And then some of the players were coming in and they quickly were showing off their outfits and stuff like that. So I did see her and Rivalries Jackson talk about how she wants to be a model. And so did Kiki. I can't pronounce her name, whatever her name is, whatever. She wants to be a model too. All right. So, all right. Concentrate on make your laps first, and then be a model. Okay. We'll see. All right. So listen, I'm going to do a live show right now between 7:30. I may take a break to, comfort break between now and 7:30. But I'm taking questions from the audience right now for conversation. So feel free to throw some questions or ideas or topics out for me, and to keep it going for the next 25 minutes, and then we'll have the live show to talk about. I mean, the live WNBA draft, which I'll turn on at 7:30, and I'll follow that for, I don't know, until we get bored. When I feel you guys are bored, I'll kind of go off. I guess we'll go until how about we'll go to pick 20? Does that sound good? That's when the Fever have their two picks that matter. We'll go to at least pick 20. After that, you won't recognize the names anyways. So we'll see. I am interested at. I'm not sure why Lucy Olsen's not higher rated. I can pull up. I didn't want to do this when Robin was here because I wanted him to speak. You guys like him and he's good. But I'll pull up these Robin. Is that his name? What's his name? Hunter Cruz. I'll pull up his WNBA draft, and he knows way more about it than I do. And Mick supposedly knows a lot, and he says Mick said this guy knows way more than he does. So this guy must be watching an awful lot of women's basketball because he really knows these players. But I don't know. Is anybody sold on Kiki? Please tell me in the comments down below. Is anybody sold on Kiki? Because I can't imagine going third. What am I missing? Orange carpet is for basketball. Oh, okay. It figures the hairstylist would know. Is that what it is? Is that why it's okay, so it's for basketball. Yeah, I didn't. I maybe they called it there. Maybe they called that like that last year, but I didn't even notice. Imagine CC playing with Malunga and CC setting her up for open looks and pro. Yeah. If Malunga comes in, gets drafted, and then when her rookie contract runs out and she plays with Caitlin Clark, and she's as good as I think she's going to be, I wouldn't want to be the other, what at the time is probably going to be 16. I wouldn't want to be one of the other 15 teams. Let's put it that way. Because Caitlin Clark, it's not going to be the only two players that are any good on their team. They still might have Aaliyah Boston. I mean, maybe at that point, 3 years from now, Kelsey Mitch will be a little older, but they're still going to have other players. So that's the thing. They just get them for 4 years, and then they can go sign with whoever they want. If Paige goes number 2, who goes number 1? Well, Dominique Malunga, of course. I mean, there's only 2 potentially great. I'm not saying none of these players can't turn out into a superstar if they just, really work on their game and are super hard working and whatever, but I doubt it. Those are the only 2 players that are most likely to turn into superstars. So yeah, I saw Paige. She was in a suit. Yeah, Paige is a pretty woman. So, but when you see Kiki and Rakia Jackson, you'll know what I'm talking about. Citron was wearing an interesting outfit. She had a skirt with a jacket, and then she had like shoes with the socks, but it was interesting. So just hearing, just hearing Elle Duncan's voice makes me sick. Is she going to be there for the draft? Because I can't stand her. Oh God, she's so Haley Van looked kind of trashy. I don't know. I didn't think she looked trashy. When does the draft start? The draft starts in 28 minutes, but I think the first pick is probably going to be at 8:05 or something, or whatever it is. I think there's a half hour pregame. I don't think it starts like right at 7:30. I think it starts at 8, but I'll turn it on at 7:30. I'll turn it on now and then have the volume down. Hang on a second, just in case they have maybe I'm wrong and it starts at 7:30 and not 8. I know it starts at 7:30. I just again, I'm assuming there's a half hour buildup, but is it? So they're going to start right at 7:30, like the first pick. I'll turn it on. Is the first pick going to be like at 7:35? Is that the way it's going to work? All right, so maybe there's a pre-draft, and then there's another half-hour build-up. We'll see. I don't know I don't remember last year whether it started right at 7:30 or whether they did some crap before that. I would bet money that look at retro hairstyles. I can't put that up there. I was going to steal my Amazon packages. Where did that come from? Velcro is the best for, oh yeah, maybe. Let's see. I don't have any strong opinions on where these people are going. I don't think I follow it close enough to know. But I know the first two picks for sure. After that,
yeah, you absolutely deserve to do so. Paige, we're here at the WNBA draft. In a matter of minutes, your name will be called. When was the first time that being a WNBA player became a goal of yours?
Probably ever since I was 5. Just the reason I played the game. I love sharing the floor with my teammates, competing at a high level, just putting the ball in the basket. And so ever since when I picked up the ball, I had big dreams.
You talk about big dreams, Paige. You've also been on a world tour. You started this last calendar year on a world tour. And then
I don't understand how this, when it comes out, oh, here we go.
Has it hit you, or when did it hit calendar year?
Yeah, I can't even.
Oh, they have Al Duncan, unfortunately, is on the show. Oh, God. Andrea Carden, Janae, the same three. Who was it? Boral calls them hens. So,
it's just surreal. My family's here. The coaching staff is surreal. So
yeah.
I'm not even sure it's hit me yet, but maybe once I get up on stage.
It will hit you when your name is called. And you mentioned the week. You've had a heck of a week, going from a week ago winning a national championship to now.
Gino's there.
Those are some members of the Yukon Huskies. But when you think about your game, we talk about it all the time. You're so efficient. In your own words, what is your game? What do you bring to the W?
What do you bring to the W?
Energy with the way that I play. I think a selfless way of basketball, team basketball mindset of just wanting to make my teammates better, being a leader by my actions, my words, and just a whole lot of heart. Just love to play the game. I want to win. I want to be a winner at every single level.
The witches of ESPN week.
I think that's happened to you in this calendar year, because it was just about a year ago that you were setting the.
All right, somebody's going to watch me.
You were the proud auntie in the stands, taking
The team can't give you views. It's sports version of The View.
So I think before we let you go, so you can have we do a thing, Paige. You wouldn't know this because you're always playing when we're on air. We do a thing called a vibe check, and we want to do one with you. It's basically just rapid fire. So we
Oh, when they do this and then they that's so annoying that L. Duncan does that. She tries to get the other two to answer the question at the same time. Like, that's entertaining. Yeah, wait till you see Kiki. If you haven't seen it yet.
More nerve-wracking, national championship game, or what you're feeling right now?
National championship.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah. Well, because she didn't know the outcome of that.
Had a hood pass? She said that?
But Paige, we will see you in a few minutes from now. Congratulations, job well done. Thanks for joining us here. Thank you, guys. All right.
She really said that?
All right, now let's take a look at what fans are searching for. Brought to you by Google. Best
Porch Pirates.
with a breakout search in the US.
I'm going back because I was playing with the TV to get the. Oh, now she's doing that count of three shit. I'm gonna throw. Steal.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, jeez. Oh. Okay, I just turned the volume down completely. 1, 2, 3. Who's the steal of the draft? Everybody knows the steal of the draft is Dominique Mwanga. And that's it. That's it. There's one steal of the draft. She's going second. And if Paige wasn't there, she'd be going first. I don't know. She looks so athletic. It's scary to pass her up. I understand why you got to draft Paige. but she looks athletic to me. She doesn't like work. She doesn't move like other 6'6" women that I've seen play. She is more agile than any other 6'6" women I've ever seen before. So I could be wrong. I think she's going to be a scary player. There's Kiki Refren. Great dress. I have to admit it. I don't think she's a great player. But yeah. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah. I wish we could follow the draft without having it on ESPN. Someone like you could stream it without ESPN. All right. Let's see what else. I'm going back to your old comments because I just want to see what you got here. Al Duncan looks like Howard the Duck. Paige is a lipstick librarian. Okay. I won't read the rest of that, but yeah, Paige, I'm not into the suit look. I like him in dresses. Yeah, Lucy Olsen was not invited to the draft. Is she really not? Well, they only they invited 16 people. I can pull them up on the screen for you because I think here are all these six. Well, because you don't know how good the women from Europe are. That's the thing. Yeah, you see highlights of them and you see their stats from a European league, and that tells you not much, right? I don't know what it tells you. I don't know how you predict when they do that. Here. Okay, so these are the players they invited. Let me just see if I got that on there. Yeah, Georgia Morey, Barker, Paige Beckers, Citron, Sanaya Fagan. She's not that good. She really Kiki Ifri, Sia James. I don't know why those are in bold. Sanaya Rivers. Must be North Carolina State printout. Dominique Malunga, Anissa Morrell, Pow Pow, Madison Scott, Shania Sellers, Aja Sivka. By the way, Serena Sundell, she led the country in assists, but she was underneath the radar all year, and Haley Van Lith. So all those players supposedly they think are more likely to be drafted ahead of Lucy Olsen, and we'll see. And I think that guy, I can go through his real quick because he supposedly knows more than everybody else. So we'll find out. Okay, I'm sorry. So so I'm going to go back and try to see some of the things. What do I think was the biggest cause? Let me go research that one. Let's see. Rakia is pretty, but a model. No, same for Angel. Well, she's actually prettier than Angel. So, in my opinion, Angel, when you see her without makeup, she's kind of average looking. But Rakia, I've never seen her without having a bit of makeup, so I don't know what she looks like. She always wears a lot of makeup. I don't even think she needs it. A Chinese girl needs to watch out. Look what happened to the giant in Game of Thrones. So, let's see. Shaq and Jabbar would get tired running up and down watching threes all night. Well, Shaq was heavier than Jabbar, but I get your point. Oh, Ezzy Fudd. Yeah, Ezzy Fudd, she could go ahead of, I guess it depends on how they play next year. So is Flajay Johnson. Flajay Johnson, Ezzy Fudd, and Lauren Betts. Those are the three front runners, right? And Olivia Miles. You know, it's a year away, so we'll see. Those four, which certainly going to be up there. And there's probably someone else we're forgetting. Yeah, I've just watched her play. I just watched highlights of her. I'm enthralled with it. And her personality just seems. I hope she seems nice, but she's gonna have to be tough for the WNBA. She's only 19, so she might not have that toughness yet. You know, some of these, but we'll see. I tell you, I wouldn't pass on her. Seattle would be crazy not to take her, to trade away. That might be the mistake of the century. I saw a video that someone said Mystics were trying to trade up to second. Seattle's going to go, get out of here, unless you give me 3 All-Stars. There you go. There's all the women lined up. Some are just too much like guys for me. Okay, well, Kiki's the winner. Sorry. That's in my opinion. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Malunga. That's not spelled right, but yeah. Oh. Yes. She'll get drafted next year because she's athletic and she's got a motor. Whether she'll have much of a career in the WNBA, I don't know. She has to play better than she did this year. I think she missed Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark made her play better. I think there's an L in her name too, by the way. Yes, I think she will be drafted. She's fast and she's just a little undersized, so she's going to have to not play underneath the basket as so much, play more of a small forward. She could play power forward, but we'll see. Charlie likes the way Haley been. She's cute. She's always been cute. Is she fast? No, she's not fast, but she's not immobile. That's tall for a woman, 7'5". There was that Russian woman who was like that tall, and she couldn't move after a while. When she was by her early 30s, she could barely move. So that's how Russian won the championships, up until between 76 and 83, and then they finally beat him in 84. She was old. Oh, she beat him. They beat him. I think they lost to him in the Olympics, but then beat him in the Goodwill Games in 86. That time, that woman was too old. She was she could barely move. So I don't know if there's more than 2 players that come out of this graph. That's great. I'll be surprised. Doesn't mean there won't be a lot of players that come out with solid careers, but as we saw, it's probably only 13 players are going to make the WNBA period. Who'd be more fun on a date, Lucy or Paige? That was a serious question. Lucy Olsen seems to have a good personality. In the interviews that I think I only saw one interview with her. but she was likable. Aren't the European basketball games far shorter in minutes? In my understanding, all the leagues at the college and pro level are 40 minutes. High school is 32 and the NBA is 48, but don't quote me on that. So as far as I know, college men's and women's is 40 minutes. I don't know what the G League is, but the NBA is 48, and the European leagues and the international basketball is 40 minutes too. But I'm not sure if all the leagues over in Europe are 40 minutes, but that's the professional ones I believe are. But maybe if you're talking about like way down minor, they may be lower. But high school is only 32 minutes. Yeah. Malunga is fast and fluid. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm looking forward to seeing her play. I'm more looking forward to seeing her play more than anyone else coming out of this draft, even Paige. So I think this year, you're not going to see everything you want to see out of her. It's going to take a year, but she's going to go through some rookie growing pains because of how physical the WNBA is. If the WNBA wasn't so physical, I think she would flourish quicker. It's going to take her a while to adjust. But I don't like the fact that it's so physical. That's just me. Some of you guys do. I don't like it. That's Robin. Is that, Russell Westbrook. Is that Russell Westbrook on that? I don't have the sound on. I'm hoping Georgia Amore makes it in the WNBA. I like to see some shorter players make it. Someone my height, 5'6". I shot some hoops today. I hit a couple threes. Swish. I only took 6 of them. I hit 2. I could make it in the WNBA. Rob's going to have to respect me out there, and then I can blow by him in our one-on-one game. Well, that's because she's not. She's definitely not as strong. She wasn't strong before. Caitlin Clark has been working out with weights since her sophomore year or after her freshman year or something like that. So this is not a new thing. I'm hoping that it's a gradual thing where they take the physicality out of the league. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but if they do it gradually, you'll see that the WNBA 10 years from now is a lot more exciting than what the garbage you saw last year. And the really garbage years before Caitlin Clark got there was probably even worse. Now, regulation court. Well, I don't think it was the 3-point shot. I don't think it was 23-9. I think it was the 22, 22-2, whatever it is, international. So, yeah. But I shot like 6 of them, and like 4 were air balls and 2 were swishes. I wouldn't even try them at first. I hadn't played in 40 years. I played ultimate frisbee for 40 years. I hadn't really played since I was a senior in high school. I learned ultimate frisbee when I was a senior in high school, and I made a career out of it. Not a professional career because I didn't have teams back then, but I made a hobby out of it. And so I just stopped playing basketball, and I concentrated on throwing the frisbee, and I became really good at that. But I could play basketball a little bit before. I like passing and outside shooting. Yeah, I want Person of the Year award. That's right. I could do it. Come on, I'm making a comeback. I'm a little old, but what are you going to do? I'm still quick for an old person. I agree, Joseph. It's like I don't want to see one. I want to see guys do it either. But it's even worse when I watch the women do it. I don't want to see one woman smack the other woman in the head. I don't want to see people have potential concussions. They're not wearing helmets. You know what I mean? It's your brain is not ready to take that. It just isn't. It's not good to shake up your head like that. Fee's, I think Fee's more exciting than Asia, but you're right. She's not anywhere near on Caitlin Clark's level. I will say that Paige may, I think I said this in a video today or yesterday. I think Paige will make Enrique a better player. And maybe some of Paige's conservative style or efficient style will rub off on Enrique. Because Enrique needs to, if she ever wants to be a top 5 player in the league, she needs to increase her shooting percentage. Because she's not a one trick pony. She has a decent number of assists and a decent number of rebounds. So she's not all like, I'll get the ball and just shoot it, not looking at anybody else. You go look up her stats. I'll pull them up for you. But she has an all-around game, but it's just not a high percentage all-around game. And because she's not always been on great teams either, so it's too much of her. But man, I think Paige will be good for her, and I think she might be good for Paige, and Paige will open up. I think it's the ideal situation for them. Yeah, Enrique's a really good athlete. She could be a very exciting. I think even her passing can be more exciting. So I think that's going to be an interesting backcourt. I think the Fever against Dallas, that's got to be a nice matchup, right? 2 backcourts, Paige and Caitlin. I want to see if Paige actually covers Caitlin for once. Both times Connecticut played Iowa, Gino wimped out and didn't put Paige on Caitlin. I was disappointed. And she's a good defender, so she would have the advantage. So that's just me, but Fee is the best all-around player in the WNBA. I would take her over AJ any day of the week. I don't know. I think she'll might be better this year. I think the second half of the year she played just as well as Asia Wilson did. But before that, I thought the first half of the year Asia Wilson was better. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to reserve judgment on who's better between those two until this year. So, anyways, is it 7:30? Do I have to turn on my? Oh no, it's 7:26. Yeah, I don't know what she's wearing. I don't know why she has what she has. She's a good athlete. I think her brother is a running back. Was it for what team did he play for? Was it someone in the AFC? Her brother plays running back, right? Houston or something. I don't know. Brothers in the NFL. So they definitely have talent, athletic talent. Can she pass better than the point guard? Can she pass better than the point guard? We'll see. I think Paige is going to have a great career if she doesn't get injured again. I think she's going to get a little freedom in the WNBA. It'll be interesting to see what happens. People are saying, Gina was holding her down. Well, the Dallas coach is probably aware of that. Dallas coach is probably going to give her some freedom. She gives Enrique freedom. Why wouldn't the Dallas coach give Paige freedom? And anyways, so it's that damn STYP. What's that? What's STYP? So anyways, So what is this? This is, I'll take this stop screen. Here are Enrique's stats. As you can see, she averaged 5.1 assists, considering she's thought of as a shooting guard. That's really good. 4.6 rebounds, 2.1 steals, 0.3 blocks, 2.7 turnovers. That's a 2-to-1 ratio, assist to turnover ratio. That almost, right? So 5.4 would be 2.1. But that's Caitlin Clark was 1.5. But her shooting percentage, 38.3. Her three is okay, 34.6, that's okay. But 38.3 shooting percentage, that's what people don't like. Jewel Lloyd was worse. But she has an all-around game. So she could be a top 5 player in the league if she starts shooting 48% instead of 38%. She could be the next best guard after Caitlin Clark in the league. She's that talented, in my opinion. But you can't shoot 38% and take a lot of shots. And I get that. And I think it'll go up this year. Her career shooting percentage isn't any better. 39% in her three-point shooting isn't any better either. That's her whole career. How many years has she been in the league? Yeah, she's had 6 years to figure this out. She's not going to change. Though she hasn't changed so far, so we'll see. Caitlin Clark has tree trunks. Yeah, she's got sturdier legs than Angel. Look at Kiki. That's a nice dress, Kiki. I just don't think you're as good as your reputation, that's all. I agree. You agree with Lundberg on what? And what do you agree with him on, Charlie? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, Caitlin Clark, she loses a year. It's going to lose momentum for the WNBA. Well, anybody with a brain is talking about Caitlin Clark was a future GOAT. Lucy Olsen underrated. I think Lucy Olsen's underrated. Van Lith, number 3. No, she's not going number 3. I'll pull up the let me go ESPN draft. I don't think their draft is accurate, but I don't think they know as much as this other guy does. That's what I'm being told. Let's see. Okay, so here is ESPN's. Is that on the screen? Oh, no, I took it off the screen. Okay. So here's ESPN's. Is it starting? Oh, it's 7:32. No.
And you know what, Rivers, you are correct. The WNBA been popping. That's right, Sonata. Taking a look at the headlines for this 2025 WNBA draft. Of course, Paige Becker is fresh off a championship, projected to be the first.
Here's what they have. They have Kiki going 3rd, Citron 4th, Anissa Murrow 5th, Sellers 6th, Alyssa Zivka 7th, Isaiah James 8th, Georgia Moore 9th, Sanaya Fagan 10th, Haley Van Lith 11th, Sanaya Rivers 12th. And then they got Madison Scott, Quernley, Simpson, Josti, Pow 17th. Wow, she's really dropped. Sundell 18th. And the Fever getting Hermione Turner and Diona Godson. I don't even know who they are. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't start at 7:30. All right. So this is ESPN, but we know ESPN sucks. So let's go to let me just see what comments you guys are making so you don't say I'm not responding to you.
Number 1 pick in this draft already. When you look at the most popular players in the WNBA, 3rd most Instagram followers.
Ryan, I love the word that you use in momentum, right? And what I'm excited about is for the momentum to continue to get faster and faster and faster. When we think about being here a year ago, we had a live audience. This year, the live audience is bigger, and I expect the live audience to be even louder. And then when you think about the records, there they are. They'll be even louder than that once names get picked. Think about the records that were broken last season, statistically on the court, in attendance when it comes to arenas, and at home in viewership. I hope we continue to build momentum on all of those things.
Now, we know last year we had a historic draft class. It feels like, Drea, here.
Not according to Gino. It was now one of the top ones of the decade.
100%. When you look at this draft,
He said it's a historic draft. So
that are not here, I see a ton of potential when it comes to fitting with the team, and there are so many teams that have room on their rosters.
let's see what this guy says.
9 of the first 12 picks in the first round, and they have room. The door is wide open. It's not cracked. The door is wide open for these talented players to have impactful minutes and make an impact at the professional level.
Simply put, this is a good year to get drafted because there are so many opportunities, especially last decade. Thinking about the
So he's got Citron going third. Oh, I got to put him on the screen.
Let's send things over to another Hall of Famer. Here is Holly Rowe.
Well, Brian, there are so many women whose dreams will come true tonight. But for Paige Becker, she had a very clear vision when she was just a little girl. She wrote this report at 5 years old. I'm Paige, and I like to basketball. It's so unique that that vision has become an adult reality for her. Her childhood became a thing of legend.
All right, so this guy disagrees with ESPN. He has Citron going third.
She only played 17 games in 2 after injuries rocked her world. But this young woman was resilient. Gina Oriana said she had the most unique journey of anyone I've ever coached. Paige has stayed true, and she is celebrating a national championship. She celebrated with a few of her thousands of friends in the Connecticut Parade just yesterday, and now here she is, that 5-year-old little girl. We'll hear her name called tonight. Could be anything better than what we're experiencing in this moment for the WNBA.
What this night is all about, Holly, no doubt about it. Time to officially get this evening started. To do that, we send things to the podium to the commissioner of the WNBA, Kathy Engelberg.
Kathy brain dead.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 WNBA Draft presented by State Farm. This is truly one of my favorite nights of the year, a night where we get to witness dreams come true. To all the incredible draft prospects right in front of me, congratulations. You've worked so hard to reach this moment, and tonight marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter of your careers. The momentum for the WNBA has never been greater. We are coming off a record-breaking season with unprecedented viewership, attendance, and fan engagement. Our game continues its pattern of hypergrowth with an expanding impact. As the league continues to rise, there are more opportunities than ever for younger players. The WNBA is bigger and better with the addition of our 13th team, the Golden State Valkyries, entering their first draft tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to see Lisa Olson. Seems like she could make the WNBA, not as a starter, but as a backup point guard.
The level of competition is elite, and the talent and skill across the league.
How many times will she say the word elite and
I
best?
can't wait to see how each of you will leave your mark on the W. The WNBA has long been a source of inspiration for fans worldwide, and we are grateful to our broadcast, media, and corporate partners.
Yeah, get rid of this commissioner, please. She's like the worst commissioner in sports.
Women's Professional Sports League in the United States, we take seriously our responsibility to elevate the game and continue pushing women's sports forward. And what a historic journey.
Where is it being held?
The past few years.
I don't know.
So to the prospects, enjoy this moment. To our teams, get ready to welcome the next wave of players. And to everyone watching, thank you for being part of this unforgettable night. Now let's get started.
Dallas is on the clock.
The Dallas Wings, you are on the clock.
So it started at 7:38.
All right, here we go. The Dallas Wings on the clock. Take a look at their timeline over the last 2 seasons.
Where is it? Is it New York City?
Last year, struggle, changes to general manager and head coach with Kirk Miller and Chris Planis. And
Give me 1 second.
Natasha Howard, Stacey Sheldon. You see some key additions with Alyssa Smith, PJ Carrington, and then Ty Harris. All right, Rebecca, you look at this Dallas Wings team. We obviously know the results as number one pick is, but what kind of thoughts do you have with the Wings in this spot?
Well, it just lines up perfectly for the Dallas Wings. This is a franchise that is not only looking for a point guard this year, but it's a franchise that's been looking for a point guard since Skylar Diggins-Smith last year there in 2018. Certainly, Paige Beckers is...
So we'll see. They're taking Paige Beckers, but...
Her rookie year could be one of the top 10 players in the league in her rookie year. But not only that, fills a need.
Imagine if they pass on Paige. Well, they need a point guard, so it's not going to happen.
In his first season with Dallas, one thing he said in his introductory press conference was he wants
It would be funny to see the look on her face if she doesn't go first.
offensively. Paige is the piece that can do that. I don't want to get too in the weeds here because we are in draft night, but Arike Gumawale led the league in unassisted field goal attempts last season. She had so much work on her shoulders offensively. She will no longer have that with Paige by her side.
She also seemed very excited about Dallas winning the lottery.
Right, exactly, because of all those unassisted field goal attempts.
Right, fell to my knees, thank you, Lord, and then managed to actually root for UConn during the NCAA tournament, which we know is sacrilege for a former member of Notre Dame. So that's what Paige Beckers has.
Well, they have 13 picks around. They just only have 12 the first round because the Aces got forfeited. So they actually have 13. So they picked Paige.
With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Paige Beckers, University of Connecticut.
I guess that's her half sister and her father. That's her mother.
Paige getting big hugs from mom and dad, from her teammates.
Oh, that's AZ Fudd? Oh.
Paige Beckers' teammates all here taking it in. She is officially the number one pick of the 2025.
I thought she said her family was with her.
When you saw her give Coach Auriemma a hug, and at the beginning of the season, Gina Auriemma said Paige Beckers was the most unguardable player in America. Why is that? Well,
She's not the most unguardable woman in a player in America. The most unguardable player in America, maybe in college, but not in America. Caitlin Clark's in America. Her breast, what little breast she has, right? Okay, wait. Kennedy is better than Paige right now. Yeah, well, Kennedy's better than a lot of people, and she's just a whack job.
You know, she's also a watch party multiplier as well. In Arlington, Texas, they are fired up. Paige Beckers is a member of the Dallas Wings, and she is with Holly Rowe.
AZ Fudd cleans up. She has a cute smile, AZ Fudd. Like a girl next door smile.
When you hear your name called number one in the WNBA draft, what's racing through your mind right now?
Just an overall sense of gratitude. It's super surreal just being here with other draft invitees. My teammates are here, my family's here. Just super grateful. I've been focusing on staying present, staying where my feet are, and to be here right now, I'm just extremely blessed.
You're just like touching your heart. Like this is real. This really happened. That young woman that has worked so hard. You haven't had everything easy. Tell me how you fought through the hardest times to still be here, standing here against all odds.
Against all odds.
Through my teammates, my family, the coaching staff, the strength and conditioning staff, everybody's invested a lot in me, and part of me wanting to give back to them and show that I can be better.
She's not unguardable. Please.
Get to this stage, so I didn't do it alone.
A lot of people have mid-range jumpers.
I absolutely love that your village is on their feet. All of your UConn players were here giving you the standing ovation when your name is called. In an era when this could be all about you.
Yeah, they decided not to mention Caitlin Clark this year.
Pouring into your teammates and making sure they get the recognition. How important has this group of women been for you?
It changed my life because my sisters, just extremely grateful for them. I think 2 teams or 1 team would be genius to add Caitlin Chen and Aubrey Griffin to the team, so I think they should be drafted tonight. But I just love them so much, and they're going to be my sisters for life.
All right, you saw the watch party. What do you say to Dallas? You're coming there. They seem excited.
Yeah.
Hey or ever, Mark. What does that mean?
Versus barbecue. I was unfamiliar with the term Tex-Mex, so that's my pick. But Dallas, I'm so excited.
Yeah, people kept making up videos saying she didn't want to go to Dallas. It doesn't sound like she doesn't want to go to Dallas. I think it's a good fit for her. I never bought that she didn't want to go to Dallas.
She'll be able to enjoy that Tex-Mex with the celebratory draft room in Dallas. Yeah, Kurt Miller and the whole crew fired up. Paige Beckers officially the #1 pick of the 2025 WNBA.
Oh, this is different than what Best Available. It's different than what ESPN one had. So this is the third. This guy thinks Citron's going third. The guy who's supposed to know so much. Hey, Reverend Mark. I don't know what HEH is. Joseph. And anyway, so
People seem to get upset that I'm everywhere. That's funny. I seem to upset them here too.
So we'll see. I don't know.
Don't sweat it. Get our best deals on smartphones like iPhone 16 Pro on us with your choice of our best plans. That's the AT&T guarantee. And right now, trade in your iPhone any year, any condition, and get up to $1,000 towards your new iPhone.
Well, there's players in the WNBA right now that can have good mid-range games. So I don't know. Hers doesn't seem better than anybody else's. So we'll see. Doesn't seem like it's the best in the world. Yes, as soon as they're on the clock, as soon as Dallas made their pick, the other team goes on the clock. They may have 10 minutes the first round and then 5 the second or something like that. But so when they come back, you'll see the Seattle will be taking their pick. But as soon as the other team picks, the other team's clock starts.
The WNBA Draft 2025 is presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And in part by Ally, proud banking partner of the WNBA.
Well, Paige Beckers moments ago hearing her name called as the first pick of the 2025 draft. Mom with tears in her eyes as the Beckers family celebrates this historic evening. Paige Beckers now a member of the Dallas Wings and a member of the WNBA. Paige joining a long list of UConn greats to be drafted #1 overall. That list, of course, includes Diana Taurasi. From college to the pros to international competition, Taurasi has one stacked trophy room. Now Rebecca takes us on a journey through the GOAT's stellar career.
Diana Taurasi was drafted #1 in 2004, headed to a Phoenix Mercury team in need of an identity. 3 WNBA titles, 6 Olympic gold medals, and 6 EuroLeague championships later, Diana is the WNBA's all-time leading scorer.
Why are we hearing about Diana Taurasi?
D changed the game for everyone.
It's the game that I've played since I was 7. It's all the things I love to do. And now let's play the game of basketball.
Well, Diana Taurasi, I don't know if anyone's catching those 6 gold medals, that's for sure. We're obviously.
What does she have to do with anything? You should be talking about Caitlin Clark. She changed the game.
First is her greatness, but second is her longevity. I mean, her draft class was.
No, I think Paige is going to be a great player. So I'm not disagreeing with the fact that she's going to be a great player.
It's remarkable what she was able to do in a standard that she set as the GOAT. Like, until we have another player win 3 national championships, win 3 WNBA champions, win 6 gold medals, and become the all-time leading scorer, you have to consider Diana Taurasi the GOAT of the WNBA.
And just the longevity.
It won't take long for Caitlin Clark to be better than Diana Taurasi.
So long, and she also poured in to rookies. She poured into the young Olympians that were on those Olympic teams. She loved this game so much. She also brought them into the league by getting them some trash talk and giving them a hard time. My favorite thing about DT, the way that she played on the court, the stats, the shot, all of that is great. But you mentioned the flair for the dramatics, the way she was truly herself, unapologetically herself, to put on a show night in and night out for that long. I'm not calling her old, but she is. She is absolutely incredible.
I'm sure she's coming to a microphone near you sometime soon. Meanwhile, the Seattle Storm now on the clock with the number 2 overall pick. Now, why do they have this pick? They have this pick because of this huge trade in the W between LA, Vegas, and Seattle. LA getting Kelsey Plum, some draft stock, Vegas, Jewel Lloyd, and the 13th pick, and then Seattle, Lee Giroux, the 2nd pick of this draft, and then a first rounder next year. How about Dominique Malonga and her talent perhaps fitting your number 2?
Well, what's really interesting with this pick in Seattle is their need lies in the backcourt. They've lost Jewel Lloyd. That's if you're picking based on need, right? That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
That was an interesting.
They won't ever give Caitlin Clark credit.
2 weeks ago was that they were going to take
I thought there was 10 minutes. So when they went on the clock at 7:38 and came out around 5 minutes later. So if that was the case, they should have to make a. I don't know how. Let me ask. I thought they only got 10 minutes in the first.
Their lack of being here is impacting it, but as a result, Dominique Malonga is the player that everyone is looking to as a potential generational talent with what she could do. And even if she doesn't fit necessarily in Seattle, she's a player who can fit anywhere.
Well, that's the thing. It's tricky for me. Even when I think
Let's
about
do
it,
the
would have stayed in the
teams.
draft, I think Seattle would have still been like, because of what Dominique Malonga has the potential to be an absolute matchup nightmare. Her size, her mobility, the athleticism, she is truly one of the best available. I think it would be hard to pass her up either way.
All right, let's find out.
It will be her. Trust me. It's not even close.
2025 WNBA draft.
So I think it's 10 minutes right now from where they made a selection. She's dressed like in a suit, though.
Pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Seattle Storm select Dominique Malonga from France.
Well, Dominique Malonga, 6'6".
It says 5 minutes.
Cannot wait to see her talent here in the WNBA.
How could it be 5 minutes if they started at 7:38 and it's already 15 minutes later?
That has a legacy of success.
It's already 14 minutes. It was 13 minutes when the draft pick was. It's a generous 5 minutes.
One of the greatest with what she is starting with. Think of her floor, 6'6", athletic.
I guess it starts after Paige gets her introduction.
Effortlessly. And when you think about her adding
It says 5 minutes first round, 4 minutes second round, and 3 minutes third round. I thought it was 10 minutes but who knows?
I'm just going to tell people at home who have not watched highlights of this young woman play, sit back, take a breath, and enjoy what you are about to see in this highlight package. And she is 6'6" and long and plays so well in space. She can come off flare screens and drain threes. Brad, you mentioned that she can dunk the basketball. She can drive from the high post and score. You see a little turnaround fadeaway on one leg. This young woman
She's got good form.
Skills, incredible length.
It's a little low, but
her best days are ahead of her. She can be a menace on the defensive end as well. But Seattle, you are getting a good one.
She's played professionally over in France, averaged a double-double this past season. She played in the Olympics, represented Team France alongside Gabby.
maybe she'll have more double doubles.
In Seattle, so there are a lot of connected pieces for Malonga.
More double doubles than
a glass of wine in Seattle. This is a young woman who has an incredibly high ceiling.
And you can understand why that draft room is so excited to have her. Dominique is with power.
Oh, they knew they had her a long time ago.
Drinking age is younger in Europe. I'm not sure on that, but I think it's going to be okay, Rebecca. Congratulations, solicitation. You are just the 5th player from France to be selected in the first round of the WNBA. What does that mean to you to represent your country and yourself and your family who are here tonight?
Yeah, they must be measuring it. I don't know how when the clock starts, but it's. All I know is it was 7:38 when they said Dallas was on the clock. We've only had 2 picks.
To be here today, and I'm so happy to represent France, but not only France, Cameroon, Congo. You can see the flag on my table. Mexico.
She seems very sweet and humble and mature.
I have a lot of people behind me, and I'm so proud to be here and to represent all of them.
Her voice is a little deep, though.
My former club, Towering France, French national
Dressed in a
team,
suit.
and all the persons
Not my
that
look.
support me from today.
I was lucky. I got to see you play in Paris at the Olympics for the French national team. You were the youngest player on that team. At 19 years old, how will you transition to the WNBA well?
I mean, I will work very hard to fit in this league because I know that it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, but I'm ready to work.
Félicitations. Bienvenue à la WNBA. Merci.
Well, congratulations to Dominique. Also getting Holly to flex her French here in the first round. Meanwhile, Washington about to be on the clock with the number 3 overall pick. Elena Deladon, the legend, just recently announcing her retirement. 2-time MVP, was the 2nd pick back in the 2013 draft, a 7-time All-Star. She is the only 50, 40, 90 player we've ever had in the WNBA.
Once you get outside the United States, a lot of humble young men.
At some point tonight's number 1 overall pick, but this is one of the all-time greats. You watch Elena Deladon play, and it was hard not to just.
Yeah, her voice is too deep for my taste, but.
Versatility, when you think about a player that shows versatility, her size, so we just talked about Dominique.
But we're just talking basketball here.
Elena Deladon, not exactly 6'6", but versatility, guard skills, her size. Elena Deladon really gave a great example of now.
I'm looking forward to seeing her play. I don't know about you guys. It's going to take like I said, this year is going to be a learning process. She's only 19, but we'll see. Like next year, she might be doing things that Victor did this year.
To now this new era for the Mystics where they're going to have 3 of the first 6 picks. Last year, lost their first 12 games, played better at the end. They made changes. A general manager, head coach heading into this season. And pick 3, pick 4, pick 6. As we set the table here for this first of their 3 picks, number 3 overall, what are you looking at, Rebecca? Because now things get quite interesting in this first round.
Well, it's interesting that you use the phrase set the table because the GM told me the Mystics are setting the table for the rest of the first round because they have 3 of the next 4 picks. And what's really interesting, when you're trying to look at what their proposed starting lineup is going to be, those 3 are easy. And then
so they're supposedly going to take Citron and Kiki Rayford. So that's what he says.
Not only a great chance to make the team, there's a couple starting spots available.
All right, well, the pick is in. Time to find out who Washington will take with the 3rd overall pick. Back to the podium to the commissioner, Kathy Engelberg.
So it's been 20 minutes since the first one was on the clock. So it's not an efficient 5 minutes like in the NFL.
WNBA draft. The Washington Mystics select
Citron.
Sonia Citron.
Told you. I knew the ESPN was wrong. They said Kiki. I knew they were wrong. No, this guy's got Kiki going 4th.
Talking to you earlier, you felt like Sonia Citron could absolutely be the fit for Washington at 3rd overall.
Well, when you talk about a player that Washington,
So Hunter was right. ESPN was wrong. By the same team, so it probably won't matter, except for contract negotiations.
Every area of the game. It's not just her points, it's her defensive activity, it's her ability to guard multiple positions on that end of the floor, her decision making, her high basketball.
Okay, this guy's 3 for 3.
Team, and I know Citron is a rookie,
I'm 3 for 3 too, but that's about as far as I go. I don't know what's going to happen after that. I like her defense. She's the reason that Juju had trouble against Notre Dame.
She's really good at baseline cuts, getting to the rim. She reminds me kind of a Rebecca Allen type player. That size, who can make threes, who can defend you as well. Another player who has a really strong upside for Washington.
And whose draft stock just skyrocketed this season from not too far away in Westchester. Sonia Citron is with Holly Rowe.
Well, she is the pride of Eastchester and Westchester. You're a New York girl. What is it like for you to have this moment not far from where you grew up playing basketball?
Yeah, I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I think what makes it so special is that I get to do it in front of my friends and family since I am from here. So, I mean, I wouldn't be here without them. So, I mean, I'm just happy I get to share this moment with them.
William, Yolanda, your boyfriend Maris is here. For the record, you got drafted higher than he did in the NFL, so shout out to the girls. I know they've all poured into you and made you such a special player. What are you grateful for?
Yeah, I mean, just grateful for all their support, all the time that they invested into me. I mean, my family, my friends, my coaches, they believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and I wouldn't be here without them. So.
Okay, very quick. Coach Ivy, these are the words she said about you. Blue.
Is Anissa Moore in the draft? Yes, of course. She's supposed to go around 5th or 6th.
You really everything. How can you do that in the W?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep working hard, keep trying to get better, and I mean, I have amazing women to learn from in the league. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep trying to play both sides of the ball, and just be myself.
Right off the ball, too.
This guy has Anissa Moore going
Congratulations to Sonia for those interested
7th, and ESPN has Anissa Moore going 5th. So we'll see who's right. We'll see who's right. Supposedly Kiki's going to go here. I like Anissa Moore better than Kiki. I think she's a better player. Although Kiki looks better in the dress.
She has no comparisons to Asia Wilson or the relentlessness of Anissa Moore, the true point guard skills of Georgia.
They're going to either choose Kiki or Anissa Moore.
For the scoring of Zion James right now, there's multiple ways they can go, and that's good because they have 2 of the next 3 days.
Well, we're going to find out who that second first-rounder for Washington is. The 4th overall pick is in. Right back to the podium comes the commissioner.
Yeah, well, they already knew who the first 2 people were going to go. It shouldn't be hard.
With the 4th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Washington Mystics select Okikiola Iriafen, University of Southern California.
All right, so they picked Kiki.
Well, there you go. Kiki Iriafen goes 4th overall. So you get the versatile guard. Now you get the versatile post. And then Zigawi, her coach, soaking it all in. And one thing we've seen from Kiki as well, she has had some of her best performances on the biggest stage. You think about 41 in the second round last year, 36 in the Sweet 16 this year. This is a really talented player.
Yes, certainly.
I don't think she's that talented, but
for her position, she's an exciting athlete. She improved tremendously, Ryan, over the course of her college career. First at Stanford, and then at USC. She's a really good rim runner. Is terrific.
I don't know. She's
the basket, has a shot out to 17 feet, can drive and finish inside. And we've seen her also dabble at times.
I could be wrong. I just don't think she's going to be a big star.
Free throw shooter, so you expect her to have the potential to add the 3 to her game at the pro level.
She always seemed to come up small in the big games, I noticed. So maybe I'm wrong. She's inconsistent. Yeah, she's too inconsistent. If she learns to be consistent, she could be an excellent player. But so far, I don't think she was this year. So this guy's been right 4 out of 4 so far. Of course, the first 4 picks were kind of easy. So this guy, Hunter, let's see who he's got. Number 5, he says Cheyenne Sellers from Maryland is going to Golden State. She's a 6'2" wing. 41% from threes.
You wanted to talk about your dress tonight. We don't always do that with everyone, but it was important to you, right? Yes, I wanted to look good. I wanted to feel good. This dress was designed by a Nigerian designer, Nick Alexander. And I just wanted to show off my culture on this big stage. I know your family's in the audience, and they are also showing up their beautiful culture as well. What do you say to your mom and your dad? I know your grandparents are in Nigeria. I'm not sure if they're staying up this late to watch or getting up this early, but what do you say to your family? Thank you. I wouldn't be here without them. My parents sacrificed so much for me. My village, my coaches, just everybody in my circle. So I'm just super grateful, and this is for them truly. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to Kiki Iriathan going number 4 overall. The Golden State Valkyries about to make their first pick in franchise history.
So this guy says Cheyenne Sellers will be next. And even though they don't even have him the best available. So we'll see. I don't know that much about Cheyenne Sellers, so let's see who ESPN says. ESPN says they're going to take Anissa Morrow. So we'll see. We'll see who's right. So far, who do you guys think they're going to pick? Yeah, we'll see. I'm just saying, the times I saw her play, I wasn't impressed. She had one big game when she played against a lousy team in the round of 32 that had no front court to defend her. And she hit her first 3 shots the next round and then missed like 13 in a row. How do you miss 13 in a row when you're big?
Because you're a human skills. Science does more. It's refreshing. Things fit just right. Like your auto insurance. Coach Teacher reacts. Let's get into it. Hold on, what? Y'all giving all this away? Introducing the all-new Passport.
So I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Well, the plot thickens. Who's Golden State going to take finally? They already know. They kind of already knew those 2 players were going to be gone, so they probably knew who they were going to choose. Because everyone was picking those 2 players to go 3rd and 4th. So it shouldn't take them long to.
I'm going to pour all my energy and my heart and my soul into this organization. I just can't wait to build a championship team.
The Golden State Valkyries select Ileana Rupert.
Julie Van Loo, King Morton. Well, here is Chase Center. The Golden State Valkyries getting ready for their first ever draft pick. What a rollout this franchise has had.
It will be interesting. I think it's.
We have just seen so many resources go behind what this franchise is doing. And now, Drea, what you're considering with the.
I'd get the rebounds with Anissa Morrow.
It's so tricky because they are starting the foundation of their team. And they, like we said, they could go in so
Undersized, but she just has to be a good player, not a great player.
That fans are just going to love to watch and be mesmerized with the ball. And I'm a little biased from the guard position, but truly, when we think about some of the guards, we talked about Georgia Amore. She is so fun to watch, plays with so much joy. Isaiah James, those type of players that fans just fall in love with. When you're starting a franchise, to me, that is a great piece to start with.
Yeah, and certainly when you look at this team and what they have on the roster right now, you're thinking they need depth at the 5, depth at the 1. And if they decided to go to a player like Georgia Amore, she could be their starting point guard who, as you put it, can be electrifying for the fans and help you win some games.
So, all right. So Georgia Amore, they think Georgia Amore, but
first ever pick is about to be announced.
this guy says Cheyenne Sellers is the best guard. Well, he's a wing, I guess.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Golden State Valkyries select EST from Lithuania.
Oh, Lithuania. She's supposed to be talented, but she wasn't supposed to go this high.
Here's a southpaw shooter who you watch her on film, and wow, is she talented.
Well, one thing we didn't talk about with this Golden State Valkyries team is how they are heavy on international players. EST is a dynamic, electrifying guard. She is a lefty. She can get into the paint. The way that she scores, the poise that she plays, it's similar to Dominique Malonga in starting her professional career.
All right, so nobody had that. I don't think anybody had her going 5th, but at least these 2 people didn't go. Let me see what some of the other draft picks said was going 5th. Let me see WNBA mock drafts. Well, I heard good things about her. Let's see what Bleaker Report had. Let's see. All right. Here's ESP.
This league is going to be a free agent at the end of 2025. Players strategically lining up their deals for a new collective bargaining agreement.
Oh,
105
CBS got it right.
Players in this league will be free agents following the 2025 season. Only 2 players.
CBS is 5 for 5.
Free agents, and that's one of the ways the Valkyries will be able
Take
to
this guy off.
after next year to add to what they're doing culturally.
Which is what's really interesting to me when you look at Golden State, because realistically, this is not a team that's contending for a championship this year. Certainly not. This is probably not a team that is contending for a playoff spot. So they will most likely find themselves in the draft lottery next year and has a ton of cap space where they can go out and potentially afford 3 of the top level free agents. And with all of the things that they have to show those players as they come in as opponents this year, it could be a really interesting place to watch.
Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking, right? You talk about the facility that they have in place already, the tickets.
Okay, so
out of for their
CBS is 5 for 5.
energy that they have between the Golden State Warriors. We've seen Golden State Warriors.
They had
Steve Kerr,
Citron 3rd and Kiki Erfin 4th. They're 5 for 5. They got Sellers going 6.
It's also because they have the best looking uniforms this year in the WNBA.
So CBS is winning.
2 picks already this round for Washington, and now the 6th overall pick.
Oh, I don't know. Dominique Malonga is going to be a great player.
Go back to the podium. Kathy Engelbert has pick number 6.
And so will Paige, but not like Clark.
Pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Washington Mystics select Georgia A. Moore, University of Kentucky.
So, okay, now they got one wrong. Georgia Amore. People thought they were going to take Cheyenne Sellers. ESPN has Cheyenne Sellers.
And Georgia is going to Washington with the 6th overall pick. This is one of the most electrifying players in the country. We saw her take Virginia Tech to a Final Four a couple of years ago. Follow Coach Kenny Brooks to Kentucky and really perform in the.
This guy said Sanaya Rivers. Sanaya Rivers can't shoot. I wouldn't draft Sanaya Rivers as high as 6.
And Georgia Amore is incredible at playing fast.
I like her. She's only 5'6", but I like her game.
To manipulate the defense. She doesn't just react to the
She can
defense.
score and pass.
Shift where she wants them to, and she can find her teammates. She creates her own shot. The way that she creates space with the ball in her hands, to me, she is going to be an excellent pro. It's a great pick for Washington.
Yeah, I mean, the knock on her is that she's only 5'6", but she was able to get her shots off against some of the bigger defenders in the SEC this year.
Yeah, they picked up a forward, a shooting guard, and a point guard. Washington pretty good if they can keep the team together.
When you look at the 3 picks that they took already here in the first round, all 3 of those players could potentially start for the Washington Mystics this season.
I like the pick too, Charlie. I like her game. I've seen her play. I haven't seen Sellers play other than one time, and she didn't stand out in my mind.
It's a long way away. How did this journey start for you to be standing on this stage tonight?
Yeah, well, first of all, congrats to Sony and Kiki. I've always said I want to play with Sony, and I love Kiki deep down to the core. So I'm excited to be with them. I'm excited to be with the Mystics. But Ballarat, man, that's a long way away. But I've taken every opportunity that's opened up, made the most of it, and now I'm here.
She has an accent.
I have to say this one for the shorties because I've never been taller than a draft pick. I'm so excited right now. But you are literally, and I thought I'm in heels, let's be fair. But you are an athlete. I think people get caught up in size instead of your skill. You play cricket, netball, taekwondo, Australian rules football. You are a competitor at the highest level.
Yeah, so she's tough. Good.
Yeah, I think just for as long as people call me too short, I've been working on how to counteract that. You know, it's not a shock to me. I know that I have to work.
Where's she from? She got an accent.
My brain a little bit more, but with my competitive background, I think I have a little bit of that dog in me that's going to keep me fighting.
Best step back ever.
Australia.
Like literally, you gain space.
Yeah, these quads and Coach Brooks.
All right, thanks for showing them off, Russell Westwood. Good job showing off the quad. Thank you, Holly.
Terrific stuff, Holly. Love that shot of Georgia's sister. Meanwhile, the Connecticut Sun are now on the clock. Wow, it is a very different Connecticut Sun team. You take a look at their starting lineup from Game 5 of the semifinals this past season. Guess what?
Well, they lost forwards. They're going to take Anissa Morrow. This guy, CES is Anissa Morrow. Let's see what this guy has.
This is a Connecticut Sun team that has been a perennial contender over the last half decade plus, but it's a different day in Connecticut, and it starts with this draft.
Yeah, but they don't want to call this a rebuild for them. Look at the pieces that they the playoffs and the finals all those years. This is a potential.
Looks like Anissa Morrow's going in this pick.
This is a solid group, and yes, they do need to get some quality picks, which they will. And these are two picks that
But
have great opportunity.
there's also Aja Sivka.
This is a solid group that I think is.
She's a 6'4" from Slovenia who's talented.
You know, it's fascinating when we think about.
She may have more talent than.
This personality for the last 10 years of this toughness and the defense, and they're gonna.
Bronny's still on the board.
The game's so tough and so physical. No matter who their coach was, the personality stayed the same because of the players on the floor. Now they have a new coach. They're getting new players on the floor. This is a turning point for Connecticut to still have success, but maybe it looks a little different than we've ever seen.
All right, let's see who is headed to Mohegan. We find out right now from Kathy Engelberg.
See, they're going to be Anissa Morrow, maybe that Sevka girl from Europe. They need a forward. They lost forwards to the free agency.
With the 7th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Connecticut Sun select Anissa Morrow, Louisiana State University.
Jim Mulkey applauding as Anissa celebrates after going.
She'll be a solid pro. She's too undersized, but man, you can't teach rebounding like she does.
Really fits into that mold of that tough grinder.
Yeah, Sivka's got 6'4" size.
Think about drafting players, right? And when you think about a team that is starting new, you want to bank on the things you can count on, and you want to bank on what you know. And what does Connecticut know? They have a player that is going
Yeah, I've heard good things about Sivka. I just see highlights of her, and I know she's. How old is she?
You know what to expect with Anissa Morrow. And even though opponents know what to expect from Anissa Morrow, they have not had an answer throughout her career. She is such a hard worker, skilled, can finish around the rim, works on the defensive end, can put the ball.
Sivka's only 19.
Potential to expand her game out to the three-point line, which will make her even more of a dynamic pro.
I'm really fascinated by it.
He plays in a French league.
She averaged just under 19 points a game this past season, 13.5 rebounds per game, led the nation in that, 5 offensive rebounds per game. To see a young woman who was only
I don't know. It's tough. Sometimes you don't.
even against teams that
Sometimes you don't trust international players because they play against weak competition. She'll be 20 this year, right? She has to be 20 the year of the draft, is my understanding.
And he said they say iron sharpens iron.
Right.
And I look at the table that you're sitting at. Your parents were great athletes at Nebraska. Even your grandma Julia played basketball. How has this family poured into you to make you the athlete and competitor that you are?
So Cheyenne Sellers is the daughter of Brad Sellers, is that right? SHYANE.
Chicago is hard, and just continuing to push and thrive to be the best person that I possibly could be. Try to set that example for those behind me that's looking up, and they want to be able to accomplish what I have, and I feel like I've done a great job with that.
Your coach Kim Mulkey said something to me this year that was really interesting. She said, Anissa,
Yeah, Brad Sellers.
she's starving. Your work
He
ethic
played for the Bulls.
What
He
can
played with
you
Michael
do?
Jordan. I remember, and then he.
Go in there and try to be unstoppable. I want to go up in there and work as hard as I possibly can, and come in there as confident as I possibly can as well, and just learn from my bets. Be a sponge and learn as much as I can.
She's a hard worker.
Thank you so much.
She's a safe bet though, despite her undersize. She'll work hard. She'll practice hard. She'll develop.
Day in, day out, and at Mohegan Sun, they are fired up to have Anissa Morrow join their franchise.
This best available has been completely off the whole time on their screen.
2025 rookies in action with WNBA League Pass, where you can stream 200 plus live games this season for only $34.99 per year.
Now, Peter Sellers is not her father.
QR code to subscribe today. Students get 40% off. Who is going to join Anissa in Connecticut with the 8th overall pick?
Yeah, the European players make it hard.
With that selection.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Connecticut Sun select Sanaya Rivers from NC State.
She can't shoot.
We've seen Sanaya Rivers.
She's a very good defender and passer, but she's not a good scorer.
A season ago, a very athletic, talented lead guard, coached by Westmore at NC State, here to take in this moment, and now Sanaya headed to Connecticut to join Anissa Morrow.
Sanaya Rivers, a 6'1" long guard, and you mentioned she played lead guard for NC State, but she will most likely fill the wing position in the WNBA and can do so much from there as an elite level athlete. So good off the bounce, can get to the rim smoothly, has the mid-range pull-up, will need to expand her range out to 3 a little bit. But
It's not a scorer, though. I don't know.
Thrilled because these are the two players they were hoping were going to be available at their picks in Morrow and Rivers.
What was said in the introductory press conference for the Connecticut Sun was that they wanted to share the ball, have ball movement, and have
She'll make it in the league because she's such a good defender, but I don't think she'll ever be a star unless she really improves her offensive game. That's just me.
And Sanaya Rivers, her ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor with athletic plays like that. She is shifty, she is long, she's got great length. Her presence on both ends gives a lot of speed and energy to this Connecticut Sun team.
Sanaya is with Howard.
Well, Sanaya, you wanted to talk about your family tonight. Both of your parents played, Jimmy and Dee. Tell me what you want to say about your family.
I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Man, I came from riches, but I came from family of love. And just the fact that they're here supporting me, they're all in the
So we'll see. Is this Asia Sifkas? I'm going to take her.
So I'm more than grateful.
Shout out Wilmington, right?
Shout out Wilmington.
I don't know. I would take a chance on her.
Watch you play, I feel like you unlock something else. You've just begun to scratch the surface of what you can be. What can you be?
I think I can be great in this league. I think I just need confidence. I think I need
Let's see what this guy had.
Great team, great. I feel like I'm versatile.
No, he thought. What pick is this? Is this the 8th pick? All right, this guy's got number 9. It's Sarah Ashley Barker going number 9 to LA. Hunter Cruz. So does Los Angeles. So does this CBS. And let's see what ESPN has. They got Georgia Moore, but she's already gone. So Isaiah James possibly. Sivka's still out there. Isaiah James and Barker. So they seem to be the 3 that people are going to think.
Kelsey, as a former #1 pick, who do you think will go first in the draft this year?
There's a player who's not afraid to slay it on the court.
I don't trust Mick. Mick overrates European players, but that's me. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I know just
I'm not saying he doesn't know basketball. I just don't. I think he overrates European players. He's biased towards European players because he's from Europe. But
To be a pet parent is to be human. Sometimes we feel guilty.
Sarah Ashley Barker, yeah, we'll see. I like her game. I've only saw her play that one game though, so but she was big.
Because you're not human in these hills. Science does more.
You got a ricotta with Cavani, Italy's #1 cheese brand.
Her stats are good too. I'm curious. She didn't even make. I guess she did make some honorable mention All-Americans, but she didn't make All-American.
Winner of Wednesday night's NBA play-in tournament games on ESPN, 7:30 Eastern. The Bulls host the Heat, then it's the Mavericks taking on the Kings. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. How about the headlines for?
So it looks like Sarah Ashley Barker is likely to go now, but we'll see. Because Sivka is supposed to be a talent. She hasn't gone yet. Let me see what ESPN has, like Isaiah James going or Sivka going yet.
To new destinations across the board. And you know what? A lot of new coaches in this league as well. If you take a look at how much movement there was, including Stephanie White going to the Indiana Fever. She previously coached one of our colleagues at ESPN, one of the bright basketball minds in our league. And the Fever will not pick till the second round, but we'll obviously be seeing plenty of them this season. Stephanie White at the helm, Caitlin Clark back after being first team All WNBA as a rookie. A lot of offseason movement as well, Rebecca. I mean, just how high could this team climb in Caitlin's second season?
I think this is an Indiana Fever team because of the movements that they made in free agency. That is a championship contender this year. And that's what we've kind of seen over the course of the last few years is that teams that are looking for that one extra piece that
We'll see.
be a championship contender, get them in free agency. And then the teams that are rebuilding, resetting, are doing it here through the draft. But certainly the Indiana Fever, to me, have all the necessary pieces now around Caitlin, around Kelsey Mitchell to contend for a championship.
That's such an incredible job by Indiana in free agency at putting pieces around Caitlin that are going to fit so well with her incredible game. To me, you think about this team, this will be their first season together as a team, but they will be tested throughout the season. And when I say tested, I mean not in teams' homes, arenas, but Indiana's going to be playing in bigger venues in different cities on the road. The way that they're going to be in hostile environments with incredibly huge crowds are going to test this season before they even get to the playoffs.
The question is, will the environments be hostile or will they actually be friendly when they reach to those bigger arenas?
All right,
That core of Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, you add to it with those free agent acquisitions. Really interesting team. Meanwhile, another team that has not drafted yet tonight, the LA Sparks. They picked number 9 overall here now on the clock. They had a very interesting offseason, adding Kelsey Plum to a core of Dearica Hamby, Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink.
It's not a bad team.
Played a really interesting space and pace style in Utah coming to the pro game. This is a team that I think is going to be fascinating to watch and feels like, you know, they're close to breaking through here as a perennial playoff team, and then you see how they.
That definitely looks like a playoff team.
On the left of that graphic that have broken through. Kelsey Plum and Dearica Hamby have won a championship together. They won in Las Vegas. They know what it takes. Dearica Hamby
Hi, Dearica.
in the building with her beautiful daughter Amaya. together. So when I think of those two setting the tone and creating the pace together for everyone else on the Sparks to follow, I think that's huge for this team.
All right, another question is, how about Cameron Brink? Her status for this season after last year's torn ACL.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe for a little more on that.
Holly Rowe, come on.
Brink was on this stage last year getting drafted in, and her small amount of work that she was able to put in the WNBA, she proved that she could be a force. Checking in with her and her people today, she said she's doing really well in rehab. She is so blessed to be working with some of the best in the business. Susan Borchard and Curtis Borchard of the Athlete Blueprint are helping her with her rehab. Sources close to the Sparks have told me that she is likely to return around June before the All-Star break.
June.
Brink, one of those bright young stars, looks to be back on the court fairly soon.
All right, so she's not going to have.
Be the newest teammate of Cameron Brink. The Sparks pick is in.
She's going to miss the first half of the season, it sounds like.
Back to the podium, the Kathy Engelbert.
With the 9th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Los Angeles Sparks select Sarah Ashley Barker.
Barker, yep, people were right.
So Sarah Ashley Barker spent her first 2 collegiate seasons at Georgia.
I think this is a good fit.
First team All SEC each of her 5.
I like the outfit.
Is now headed to a really interesting LA Sparks team.
And this is a Sparks team that was looking for depth at the wing spot, and especially a player who has length and size, and they get that with Sarah Ashley Barker. She had a career high this past season, just over 18 points a game, a very good 3-point shooter. 38% on the season. She was described to me as a bulldog, but her ability to get to the rim, she can go right and left.
I think
She's a good off-ball cutter as well. Uses her strength inside.
She could be. I mean, I don't think Dominique Malunga's a sleeper because everybody was raving about her recently. She may be the sleeper right here, a true sleeper. She wasn't an All-American.
She reminds me a little bit of Sophie Cunningham, and we've seen what she's been able to do in her time in the WNBA.
Good comp. That's certainly what
All right.
Sarah Ashley Barker is with Holly Rowe.
Let's see who's going.
Remind everyone who's watching, yes, you are that young woman who had to hit those 3 free throws to get to overtime. You are made of some steel.
I mean, she is just my.
So this guy, Hunter Cruz, has Pow Pow going next.
And I love you so much, Mom.
Okay, Mom must be tough.
Let's see.
You also know how tough that is. You want to
CBS has Georgia Moore. I mean, she's already gone. Sanaya Rivers already gone.
To become a top 10 WNBA draft pick.
So maybe Sifka will go.
So I grew up playing basketball.
Let's see what ESPN says.
My twin brother takes credit for all of my basketball success.
They got Sanaya Fegan of South Carolina. I don't know. She never impressed me.
He's a quarterback, right?
That's right.
All right, shout out Harrison Twins. All right. Well, congratulations, LA will be a great spot for you.
Thank you so much.
Maybe it's me. Sanaya Fegan doesn't seem like she's a good enough pick at this. I'd rather take Sifka over her. I'd take Sifka before I took.
Impermissible player
Boy.
workplace policies. So Chicago is now on the clock at 10. Let's take a look at what's been going on of late for the Chicago.
Sanaya Fegan, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.5 blocks, but 60% from the field. I don't know. She never stood out in my mind, but she got fewer minutes at South Carolina, right?
Averaging 13.1 rebounds per game. You know, we all Camila Cardoso, part of that young core for Chicago as well. How about the Sky here at number 10?
You would think the Sky would be looking to add some more of this floor spacing and shooting. And this was a Sky team that a year ago that made less than 5 threes per game. And
that Sifka can hit the threes.
Players, Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese, is to surround them by shooters and to give them some of that floor spacing. And they did that some in free agency. They got Keeners, they got Becca Allen. two players who can help spread the floor. They bring in Courtney Vandersloot and Ariel Atkins as well. But you would think they continue to look for some floor spacing, particularly from the guard spot or a stretch four.
And when I think about whoever Chicago gets in this draft, the one thing I can guarantee is that they're going to continue to get better throughout their pro career because of their head coach, Tyler Marsh. Tyler Marsh has been known throughout his coaching career as
I don't know. Supposedly Sick could hit the 3-point shot, so we'll see who they pick.
Games with his players, he's coached alongside the best, and that's what he does as a head coach.
Saw him do that in Vegas. Now a head coach in Chicago. Time to find out who his first rookie to develop will be. Back to the podium and the commissioner with the 10th pick.
I say Svivka.
With the 10th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Chicago Sky select Aisha Sivka.
Told you, Svivka. I just didn't pronounce it right. I got it right.
But we've seen some serious international talent in this draft. Now the third player from overseas to go off the board through these first 10 picks with Aisha Sivka.
I mean, this is a really intriguing young player. She's 6'3" and long. She can play in the pick and pop. She has a really quick release on her 3-point shot, catch and shoot type player. You look at her and wonder, can she be the next Leonie Fevich, where she has the length to be able to defend on the perimeter, the skill set on the offensive end, and certainly the size at 6'3".
When we talk about floor spacing, just look at how quickly she gets the ball out of her hands. She can shoot off the
She's got a nice,
on the outside.
she's got a nice quick release there. Good size. Shoots a little low. The form's good except for it's low.
Well, you come from Slovenia. You're known as a great shooter, but you have a favorite WNBA player. Who do you compare yourself to sometimes?
I love to watch Leonie Fevich. I think a lot of
Who?
people compare me to her. And I think my idol is also Brianna Stewart.
You know, you have such.
I didn't hear what name she said. Did you guys hear what she said the first time?
He was a good player too. He's down here taking pictures on his phone.
Her accent was too heavy.
Dad, who helped you become a player as a little girl, be here to watch this tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I started playing because of him. He was always my idol, so it really means a lot to me that he's here. So, yeah, I'm just grateful.
Thank you so much.
I mean, there's just nothing better on this night than seeing the emotions and the celebrations from the family members of these young women as their dreams come true. Gino Oriema has helped steward a lot of those dreams through the years. A 12-time national champion, his player Paige Becker.
I knew she would go eventually. They seem to think she's talented. Who's next? What do we got next? I didn't think they'd take Fegan. I don't know why people. ESPN doesn't like the foreigners. Oh, now they got another pick. They may pick Haley Van Lith. Oh, I'd take a break.
I'm a leader by pushing our teammates to be the best that they can be.
I am a leader because I set a strong example. I'm a leader by being responsible. I stand up for myself and others. I'm confident. I am caring.
We want girls to lead their own way. That's why the NBA and WNBA are top sport leading girls. A program that teaches girls to reject stereotypes and embrace their leadership superpowers. This is what leadership looks like.
My new car. Please bring me good juju.
You need good juju? Juju like it. Check this out.
Wow, that is good, but I just wanted to make sure my car has coverage.
Oh, you don't need me. You need like a good neighbor. State Farm is there.
A State Farm agent can help you choose the right coverage and the price is right for you.
So who's up for the one-on-one? Like a good neighbor. State Farm is there.
Gatorade, the world's most superior sports drink, designed to rehydrate, replenish, and refuel. It fuels the best because it is the best. Gatorade, is it in you?
It's an even dozen for Gino Oriana in Connecticut. The final page in the book of records is title number 12 for you guys. Gino Oriana, a big hug for his star. He spent 5 years with Paige Beckers in those final moments of a 12th national championship. The most titles, the most wins in NCAA basketball history, men's or women's, and Gino Oriana joins the set now here on draft night. Coach, first of all, congratulations on another championship.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You talked about how unique the journey is for Paige. You've been through a lot of these players throughout the years. What kind of things are you thinking about and feeling watching Paige tonight as she's picked number 1 overall?
A lot of times it goes pretty smoothly. You know, you go in as a freshman, you play a little bit, or you play a lot, you have success, or you don't, and you keep building on it every year. Somewhat uninterrupted. I think there may have been a time during Paige's sophomore and junior year, maybe, where I wouldn't have questioned her if you start thinking, is this going to be my career?
Yeah.
Is this going to define my career? How many games I didn't play in? How many games I didn't win? How many Final Fours I didn't make? Or how many national championships I didn't win? And that's a lot, you know, when somebody's anointed you as the, you know, next great player at UConn. So for it to end the way it ended, it's almost like prophetic.
If Chris Koklanis, the coach of the Dallas Wings, calls you and says, what's the best piece of advice you could give me as I now embark on coaching Paige Beckers, what would your advice be?
Good question.
Pretend that everything's okay. Be ready for her to challenge you, and you should challenge her. She's going to be a risk taker, and you're going to have to live with some of the risks. Because most times they actually pay off. And that at the end of the day, just keep in mind, she wants to win as much as you do, and she'll spend more time in the gym than you do. So it's a home run for both of them.
Another thing that Coach Koklanis can do.
She's a risk taker?
To give credit to her teammates.
I don't know about that.
At the desk with us after the national championship, she advocated for.
Where did that come from?
To get drafted tonight. How would you describe her commitment to uplifting her team?
She's been like that with everyone, really. She's one of those kids that gets a lot given to her, and she's earned all of it. But everything that she gets, there's not one thing that she gets that she doesn't share it with her teammates, with the support staff. She's got this party night. There's like, I don't know, 15 managers and practice players all invited to the party. She's just one of those kids that's more giving. She gets a lot, but she gives a lot back.
How about 4 championships, 4 different decades, 12 championships in 4 different decades now with winning this year? Sound pretty good?
Sounds like a old guy. You know, somebody should say he should have.
Well, you knew where the first 2 were going to go.
About as good as it's going to get, I guess. Yeah, you know, when you're at a place like UConn and you're able to get the players that we get, it's
Yeah, when's Haley going?
It really, really is. I mean, it's just a special place, and it means so much. You saw the parade yesterday. It means so much to so many people. I don't think they need me that much around there anymore, but I think I need them more than they need me right now.
Beautiful answer, Coach. Congratulations on another championship and having one of your favorites go number 1 tonight.
Yeah, it's great for her, great for her family, and great for her teammates. So it's a great night.
All right, thank you. Gino Oriana joining us here as we take a look at Chicago and Minnesota making a trade, which puts Chicago back on the clock. So Minnesota now will have Chicago's pick next year as they extinguish a pick swap and instead just have Chicago's first round pick cleanly in 2026. What that means is Chicago gets to pick where Minnesota would have at number 11 overall. Who do they add to their stable? We send things back to the commissioner for that answer.
With the 11th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Chicago Sky select Haley
Van Lith. Yep.
Texas Christian University.
It's about time.
You see a huge hug from Haley Van Lith with mom and dad. Regular fixtures during her games throughout her collegiate career. Her boyfriend, NBA star Jalen Suggs in the building, and Haley Van Lith, a first-round pick after just a terrific season at TCU, taking 3 different schools to the Elite Eight throughout her collegiate career, and now headed to the Chicago Sky.
And I really love this pick for the Chicago Sky. They traded and brought in the veteran point guard and Courtney Vandersloot, got her in free agency, and this is a perfect opportunity now for Haley Van Lith as a young.
It's a good fit.
Ready and eager to learn to be able to do it from one of the best.
And she is going to be playing alongside someone she shared the court with, and Angel Reese. Those two played together at LSU. There's a connection there. There's a synergy there. And the competitive edge of Haley Van Lith will be so fun to watch at the next level. She is someone that
Vandersloot's like 36 years old, right?
And the transfer to TCU, making that move, and almost
She might start in a year or two.
fun for us to watch. Now we get to watch her at the next level.
The Big 12 Player of the Year, the newcomer of the year in the Big 12, and an All-American now headed to the Chicago Sky. Haley Van Lith is with Holly.
So when you were
This guy thought they would take Pow Pow.
elementary school across the street so you could work out.
It's Hunter Cruz.
Everyone always said your work ethic is like no one else's. How do you say
He's been way off. It's really, mock drafts are so difficult. That's why I don't make them.
Yeah, I think the biggest way I can say thank you is continue to pursue my dreams. A lot of the reason why I keep going is because I look back at them and they just have poured so much into me that I want to take this dream as far as I can. So shout out to my blue collar parents who busted their butt every morning and provided for our family because they build a
Hunter Cruz thought Haley Van Lith was going to go 18th. That's way off.
Prove to yourself how good you still were. How did you do that?
through faith.
Yeah, Haley's mom is pretty.
God carried me through the lows of my life when I wasn't able to get up and walk. So my faith has meant everything, but also learning that it's okay to embrace who you are and walk in that energy has meant everything this year for me.
Walk in that energy, oh God.
You can learn from her. You're paired back with Angel Reese. There's some good energy you can walk into in Chicago, right?
Oh, I love that energy. We're ready.
Right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Haley, who is headed to the Chicago Sky. Meanwhile, the New York Liberty do not have a pick, but you know what they do have? A championship after that thrilling 5-game series with Minnesota that came down to the final seconds. Niara Savali never going to buy a drink in this city again. Just a remarkable finals, an incredible, unforgettable series. And then New York adds a significant piece, Drea, this offseason off that title as well with Natasha Cloud.
Natasha Cloud brings a level of speed, intensity, energy, and a perimeter defensive presence that New York didn't have. And what's scary to think about is New York won the title without all of those things. They are even more dangerous with the veteran point guard who can find her teammates. And look at the teammates she's going to be passing to night in and night out. This is an even more dangerous Liberty team.
The New York Liberty team that returns all 5 of its starters from the playoffs and their championship
All right.
season ago. Certainly, to me, they are the championship favorite going into this season.
All right, so the Liberty won't be picking, but the Dallas Wings will round out our first round now. They took Paige Beckers, number 1. Who do they take? Number 12. The final pick of the first round is in. And for that selection, we get things back over to the podium, to the commissioner of the WNBA with the 12th pick. Here's Kathy Engelberg.
They got Sadaya Fegan, but I don't know, but
Pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Isaiah James, NC State.
Isaiah James, I like her. She's got a nice game. She can score better than. She was third team All-American in some ones, but an honorable mention too. But
she can go on an absolute heater. We have seen Isaiah James be unstoppable with the ball in her hand. She is a lefty. She can get into her shot.
she's a little streaky, but she can score. She's athletic.
Strengthening its pieces. We talked about Paige Beckers. We talked about Enrique Gumbawale. This is a player that fits right into that mold with her ability to score.
Here's a question for you, Drea. If you have Isaiah James on the floor with Enrique Gumbawale and Paige Beckers and you're the opponent, who do you put your best guard defender on?
Exactly.
You just have to say good luck. This young woman can just go get a bucket. The lefty can step out to three. She has a great mid-range, can drive.
It's a good fit for her.
I mean, plays
she can come off the bench and give him some offense.
Just go get buckets whenever she wants to. And again, the spacing that they'll have on the floor because of the other pieces that she could be alongside. Watch out.
So Dallas bookends the first round with Paige Beckers and Isaiah James. And you know what? They're pumped up at the watch party. Yeah, in Arlington, they're celebrating the addition of Isaiah James and Isaiah Swift Holly.
Well, Isaiah, you told me earlier one of the things that you were the most proud of is how far you've come. This wasn't always a promise to be a first-round draft pick. What are you the most proud of on your journey?
Like you said, my upcoming, my first 2 years, not many people knew my name. I worked hard, I grinded that summer. My junior year, I came out the gate, busting people to hell, saying, it got me where I came. So, yeah.
Coach Westmore would talk about you had to be.
She'll make that. I think she'll make the roster.
How did you make the most of that opportunity?
I'm so grateful for Coach Moore. People don't want to sit on the bench, but I feel like that was a humbling moment for me. I was a sponge, and I learned from my vets, and I stayed quiet and waited for my turn. When my number was called, I was ready.
The game is loud now, which is a good thing. I know your mom is here, your brother's here, but you wanted to remember.
Let's see what this guy.
Tell me about AJ.
Yes, in 2020, my brother passed away. He might not be here today, but he's sitting at that table right now, and I'm so glad to see him right now.
Right, special shout out to him. Thank you.
Sanaya Fegan did not go yet, but I never thought she was going to go as high as other people thought she was going to go.
Is the final pick of the first round. Taking a look at our top board with 12 selections of this year's first round are officially in. Plenty of talent, plenty of opportunity across the WNBA. The emotions flowing tonight. There's still plenty more to come from the Shed at Hudson Yards. Second round action is coming up next.
All right. Looking to replace Enrique? No, but maybe Enrique's shooting percentage will go up if she plays fewer minutes. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Cherry red sports car, and it doesn't match the photos. It's fine, right? Sabrina, was it fine just shooting threes? No, you broke records.
But it's fine to settle for a car from a sketchy site where you can get the car you love at CarMax.
Yeah, you're right. Let's get out of here.
Sabrina?
Nope.
Sure you're not Sabrina?
Nope.
Sabrina? Asia?
Yeah,
Hi.
I don't like this guy's organization, but they were smart enough to get rid of Witherspoon after 1 year. I'll give him credit for that. Although I thought that was obvious. They should have got rid of her in the middle of the year when she basically allowed the assaults to happen and didn't condone them. Oh, yeah, that starts tomorrow, the play-in tournament. Man, the Warriors could have had that game yesterday. My feed is 4 minutes behind yours? Really? I'm on YouTube TV. That's really? I just made sure I wasn't behind it.
scientifically proven formulas to get more.
I don't know. I'm on YouTube TV, but they're always like usually around 30 to 40 seconds behind, not 4 minutes. I'm in a commercial right now. You didn't get the first pick in the next round yet, did you?
Yeah, but you're still going down out there. Make game night crust easy.
It's Pod's biggest sale in history. Save up to 30% until May 19th at pods.com today.
Well, we welcome you to the second round of the WNBA Draft 2025, presented by State Farm. Here at the Shed at Hudson Yards, the tweets are flowing. DJ Carrington welcoming her new teammate, Paige Beckers, who's the number 1 overall pick. Enrique Agumbawale, who's been anticipating this, doing the same. FC Dallas, ready to welcome a new star. A different sport to their city, and Alyssa Smith also saying welcome to the Wings to Paige Beckers. Ryan Rucco, Rebecca Lobo, Andrea Carter with you as we get ready to start the second round and about to see Las Vegas make its first pick of the night. The Aces, such an interesting team because they bring back much of that championship core with a wrinkle. Kelsey Plum now in LA, bring in Jewel Lloyd this year, to a team that also has the 3-time and reigning MVP, Asia Wilson.
This team could look different. Jewel Lloyd and Kelsey Plum are two different players. They can both score. They're both dynamic guards, but their games are very different. I did an event with Jewel Lloyd in Tampa during the Final Four, and Jewel said, walking into the Aces facility, training alongside Asia Wilson, she told me, I already feel like a better player. It's an inspiring environment for Jewel Lloyd. It will be that same thing for whatever rookie is selected next to go to Vegas. Dre, you and I could walk into a building and if Asia Wilson's on the court, you and I are better players immediately. I mean, think about the remarkable year she had a season ago, leading the league in scoring. It's the first time in a couple of decades that we have had a unanimous MVP. You would expect Asia Wilson to have a similar season this year as well.
And we saw the way Chelsea Gray looked in unrivaled. Watch out as she returns to that MVP caliber form. Let's find out who's Vegas is picking. Here's Kathy Engelberg with the selection.
With the 13th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Las Vegas Aces select Aaliyah Nye from the University of Alabama.
Aaliyah Nye.
Well, you love when this happens. Aaliyah Nye in the crowd today, supporting her teammate, and she gets selected with the first pick of the second round.
So she
goes to a team.
She wasn't invited.
A chance to win it. It's just like Vegas picking Kate Martin a season ago.
They've got something for choosing the players that are in the crowd, and maybe a player that people aren't expecting them to pick. But Aaliyah Nye, let me tell you, she is a special player, a true talent. When you talk about someone that shoots 45% from the field, but 46% from beyond the arc, she made multiple threes.
So that's why the Aces drew her. She can hit the three, stretch it out when
to this Las Vegas Aces team, broke records at Alabama for three-point shooting, and a little night to go with it. And she brings good size at the 3-4 position, and that's one of the things that
she wasn't even invited.
Looking for was a 3-4 swing who could potentially play 4 in their small ball lineup and extend the defense.
And Aaliyah is with Holly Rowe.
Well, Aaliyah, you didn't just come to support your teammate. You thought that there was a big chance you'd get drafted. You come prepared with the outfit. Why did you believe so much in yourself in this moment?
I just have a support system. My mom, dad, sisters, coaches.
Let's see if this guy
believed in me, and they did
This guy had her going 24th. Hunter Cruz had her going 24th. So she really moved up.
Great players that you can surround yourself with. What are you the most excited about?
I'm just ready to learn from all the vets there and just work hard and just learn.
All right, you understood the assignment. Not only in the crowd, getting drafted tonight too. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to Ali and I, headed to the Las Vegas Aces. Here for some of the best available prospects that are still to be drafted tonight as we start this second round with Ali and I, the first pick of the second round, and headed to Las Vegas. The Dallas Wings are back on the clock. 2 selections already tonight, beginning with Paige Beckers, number 1 overall, Isaiah James, number 12. How about a little update on what's going on in the Big D? Here is Holly Rowe.
Well, the eyes of Texas are upon Dallas right now. The city of Dallas has really invested in the Wings organization, giving them an incentive to come back downtown and bring the Wings, what they're saying, back home. They are going to revamp the convention center, Reunion Arena. They are going to put up a 65,000 square foot practice facility. So Dallas, really big improvements as they continue to invest in that team. They're a couple of years away, though, so as Paige Beckers and all of the eyes that she will bring on Dallas, they are continuing to make upgrades. They have already moved 1 game to American Airlines Arena and are continuing to make other improvements. Kurt Miller is there. Chris Koklanis, they are doing things right in Dallas, and very exciting time to be a part of the Wings organization as they upgrade what they've got going on.
It's interesting that she was supposed to go 25th.
Thank you very much. Let's find out who's going to be their latest draftee. The 14th pick is in. Back to the podium to the commissioner.
Oh, they're going fast now. Or they only get 4 minutes this round.
With the 14th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Madison Scott, Old Miss.
Madison Sky. Oh, she was invited.
Madison Scott headed to Dallas. Their 3rd selection of the evening in these first 14 picks. And she will join Isaiah James and Paige Beckers with the Wings.
Kurt Miller told me that one of the things they were looking for in this draft was wing depth. And he said draftees will want to hear their name called at 12 and 14 because Dallas has space on their roster. Madison Scott
was one of the ones that were invited.
Wingspan, brings a great amount of versatility. She can guard 1 through 5 at times. She can play the 2, 3, or 4. So good getting her spot in the mid-range. Needs to expand her game a little bit more to the 3-point line, but very good at what she can do. A hard worker, a very coachable young woman as well.
She's an absolute dog on the defensive end. My mind is already going to watching her and Dejanay Carrington get excited on the defensive end of the floor and fuel each other.
What about Lucy Olsen? Going to the Fever.
Attack the rim, finish on the inside. Rebecca, you mentioned her mid-range game there. High release, which is going to be incredibly useful at the professional level. And she's a worker. When you talk about expanding her game, that's something Madison Scott will work to do. But Dallas got a good one.
The first pick, the 12th pick, and the 14th pick for the Dallas Wings. Madison Scott is headed to Texas, and right now she chats with Holly.
Well, Madison, you just had a hug with your family members at the table that was just choking me up. There's a lot of love in your family. Tell me, what is your why? You wanted to talk about what has motivated you to be standing here tonight.
Those people right there, my circle, my siblings, London, Summer, and Zion, I hope I'm showing them that they can do anything they put their mind to. So, I just want to show them the right way to do it.
You have done that. Coach Millette says that you are Ole Miss basketball, the love that community has for you. You've already started your own foundation. What can the Dallas fans look forward to that you are going to pour into that community as well?
Just me continuing to do that work. I know that God brought me here to give back, I know I wouldn't be here without others giving back to me. So it doesn't matter that the platform changed. I can continue to do what God brought me here to do and give back and just be the best that I can be.
Okay, you did beat Baylor. The game-winning shot to get to the Sweet 16 this year. They're going to forgive you. You are going to love this young woman. I promise you. You are going to bring a lot to Dallas. Thank you so much. So much love to you.
Thank you.
All congratulations to Madison. They experienced the historic and record-breaking women's college basketball season through the lens of superstars Flau'jae Johnson, Hannah Hidalgo, and Kiki Iriafen. Tune into this highly anticipated ESPN original series, Full Court Press, presented by Lilly, premiering Saturday, May 3rd, exclusively on ESPN and streaming on ESPN+. Well, Minnesota Lynx up next at pick number 15. What a season it was for Cheryl Reeve's squad. 30-10, picking up 11 wins from the season before. Won the Commissioner's Cup, led by Nafisa Collier. One of the favorites for MVP heading into this season was the Defensive Player of the Year a season ago. And the Lynx coming seconds away from winning what would have been a record 5th championship for that franchise. You know, this is a team that, you look at this group, there was a harmony, there was a connectivity in the way the Lynx played that we saw carry them to the brink of a championship.
This is a team that had such incredible chemistry, and other teams made flashier moves in that free agency leading up to last season. But Cheryl Reeve was able to find the exact right pieces that she needed to get her team right to the brink of a championship. So you would expect with this piece, they do not need a lot, but to bring in someone who is going to be a great chemistry piece from day one of training camp.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, does Minnesota go with someone that could come in at the point guard position? They kind of play that position by committee, or do they go with someone that can come off the bench and provide scoring? When you think about not having Maisha Hines-Allen or Chechi Zandulasini, who they lost, so there are a lot of options here for this Minnesota team in this draft.
Well, you mentioned international. The 15th pick is in with the 15th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft. The Minnesota Lynx select Anastasia Olari-Kosu from Russia. So, like you thought Minnesota might do, they go international here with Anastasia Olari-Kosu. Really great of me to say that name twice. Rebecca, we will move right along to the 16th pick of this year's draft. And the Chicago Sky back on the clock here. We've seen them be active this evening already. They picked 10th. They picked 11th. Drea talked about Tyler Marsh's ability to develop players. They get a chance to develop another. And with the 16th pick, the Chicago Sky selecting Maddie Westbeld from the University of Notre Dame.
Maddie Westfield.
So Maddie Westbeld, who battled back from injury.
She wasn't invited.
Has a lot of touch and a lot of skill.
One, I talked to Tyler Marsh about things he wanted in this draft: athletic playmaking, shot creation, a stretch big. Maddie Westbeld.
So what happened to Cheyenne Sellers, who was supposed to go, and Sanaya Fegan? What about Pow Pow? Serena Sundell from Kansas State. None of these people were drafted yet, right? God, they were way off in terms of who to invite. Pow Pow was thought to go first round last year if she came out. Maybe she should come out last year. What's Sundell from Kansas State supposed to be good? She led the nation in assists, and nobody wants her.
Yep. Big L. Ellie? For a big L, so now she's serving. Get it, girl. I went my car. That is a big loss. Oh, you don't need an L. You need a W. Like the big neighbor, State Farm is there. Just give State Farm a call. We'll get to work. Excuse me, guys, but the queen is already working here.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Dude, you're fired. I need to know how long you think I can float on what I got. Alimony, child support for 2 houses, cars. 6 months tops. It was just a quick fix to pay some bills.
He's just going through something.
I was wrong about all the rules. It turns out there are no rules.
The ESPN Fantasy Women's Basketball is back. Sign up now and build your roster with current and future stars. Go to ESPN.com/fantasy women's basketball. Go to the ESPN Fantasy app to get started. How about that 360 cam? All of the draftees tonight looking so stylish on the orange carpet and with that 360 cam. As we see all of them showing off their outstanding looks this evening.
Brian, you didn't want to get on the 360 cam?
You know what? I did, and they just, they shuffle us around.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's why I did. Meanwhile, if we look at what's transpired thus far tonight, a lot of players going to places where they'll have an opportunity to play, right, Trey? You mentioned it off the top. We had 4 teams who had 9 of the first 12 picks. Those 4 teams, places where you would presume they're going to have those draftees get a real opportunity to play. Another one of those places, Golden State. Golden State, we've seen draft already tonight. They are back on the clock with pick 17. An expansion franchise. Anybody who you guys are looking at in particular that might make sense for the Valkyries here at 17?
Cheyenne Sellers is a player who possibly could. J.J. Quinterly as well, and Serena Sundown. I mean, we talked about this year after year. Players, especially in the second round, should not worry about the number where they get picked. It's about the fit and their ability to potentially make the roster.
All right, we're going to find out now who the 17th pick of the draft is. Let's send things back to the podium to the commissioner, Kathy Engelberg.
With the 17th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Golden State Valkyries select Cheyenne Sellers, University of Maryland.
Cheyenne Sellers, so she was supposed to go earlier. She's the one with the knee brace, was wearing a knee brace all year.
See the emotion from Cheyenne Sellers, a 3-time first-team All-Big Ten player who is the only player in Maryland history with 1,500 points, 500 rebounds, and 5.
Yeah, I don't think Lucy Olson can make the Fever, right? The Fever have like no spots. They got like 1.5 spots. 1 spot when the season starts, a half a spot, maybe a third of the way through the season.
4 assists a game last year at Maryland. This is a 6'2" guard who played lead guard for Maryland, shot 41% from 3 on the season. Brings nice length. She was dealing with a knee injury the latter part of the year, but I heard her name quite a bit as a potential first-round draft pick. This young woman can flat out score, terrific shooter, and she's proven that she can facilitate as well.
She's just got great size. The way that she plays, the way that she uses her body, even here, she's got a strong frame, great length. To me, what I love about Cheyenne Sellers is the way her game developed and evolved from her freshman year to her last year at Maryland. She has shown she works on her game, puts the time in, which she could do.
She might make the team because it's an expansion team.
A lot of emotion. Sometimes waiting is hard. What's it like when you hear your name called finally?
There's a sense of relief and a sense of gratitude. It's special to be here, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
You give a big hug to your mom. You've got a special tattoo on your arm. I want to get it right. Living strong, fighting long. What has your mother meant to you? I know that you wanted to say something special to her tonight.
I mean, she's my heart and soul. I mean, genuinely, just a fighter. With MS, it shows how important it is to battle. I mean, you either feel sorry for yourself or rise to the occasion.
She's helped teach you to be a strong young lady. You told me earlier this year you are a matchup nightmare. Rebecca Lobo was just detailing how great you can be, a big guard in the WNBA, and now you get a chance with it. A franchise that's just getting started. How can you go in?
Anissa Telekaso, Russia.
Just being me, soak it up.
Obviously, I'm excited.
Maddie Westbeld. So Westbeld.
Super amazing. All right, this is the second best thing that happened.
So let's see what this guy has going. He's got like Michaela Thompson that hasn't gone yet, Bree Hall, JG Quingley. None of those players are drafted. He had them like 14, 15, 16, 17. We'll see.
Meanwhile, the Atlanta Dream finally on the clock here. Interesting team. When you look at what they've gone through, a lot of changes last season, swept in the first round by New York. 4 of their top 6 leading scorers ended up missing serious time. They have a new head coach. They also have a lot of new talent, including a couple of very talented, accomplished.
What about Sedona Prince? They're not gonna. No one's gonna draft her.
How about just what we can expect from the Atlanta Dream this season with some interesting reinforcements from this offseason?
The Atlanta Dream is the team I'm most interested to watch this year because I don't know exactly what to expect. You know, they returned that backcourt. They did deal with some injuries a season ago, but returned their backcourt, which is a strong area for them. And then
I wouldn't pick Sedona Prince. She's trouble. She's got 2 accusations of assault, and she doesn't have. I don't know. She doesn't have any moves. She just doesn't move well.
How are all those pieces going to come together? I'm really eager to see what that looks like when the season starts.
Yeah, 6 of the last seasons that Smesco was at FG.
FanDuel has the Fever tied with the Aces as second choice for the championship.
That is not what we've seen.
So they have the Minnesota. Yeah, they have Minnesota 4th.
Jordan Canada being back should certainly help move the ball a little bit, but yes, how do you create space around the bigs on the inside?
I don't think Sedona Prince is going to be drafted. I wouldn't draft her. I don't think she has the talent, nor do I want. She's been to have 2 accusations. It wasn't 1 accusation; it was 2. I just don't. I don't think she has the talent, anyways.
With
But
the 18th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Atlanta Dream select Tahina Powell from the University
Powell.
of South Carolina.
You see the reaction from Tahina, not here tonight in Oceanside, California, because of a family health matter, but surrounded by loved ones and able to celebrate. We saw our head coach Dawn Staley celebrating this moment. What a career for Tahina Powell.
And if we're going to talk about three-point shooting, we might as well talk about the young woman who led the nation in three-point percentage 2 years ago when she shot 47% from the three-point line. And she's really expanded her game this year.
I don't know. I'm not impressed with her all-around game, but I guess that's why she didn't go in the first round. But she can hit the 3. She can come off the bench for some team to get some instant scoring.
Tahina Powell has an incredible support system thanks to her family that's been there every step of the way. And now time for tonight's assist.
She wouldn't be bad for the Fever.
Very big, as in stature and as members, so I'm sure they know who the Powell are.
They have anywhere from 10 to 20 people or more.
So let's see who the Fever is going to pick. Let me see who was invited that hasn't been picked yet.
What makes Foundations is so unique is the togetherness. We're taught from a young age that family is important and that we just have to support each other and love each other. It's very important.
Serena Sundell from Kansas City. She was supposed to go. And Sanaya Fegan, she was supposed to go. Those are the only 2 that haven't been drafted yet. So let me see where this guy has them going. Sundell and Fegan. I thought he had them going earlier.
At such a young age, it was something that I always was like, hey, I gotta do what I gotta do to get like where he is. And it's so important to have Papa on my back. I carried with
he had Fegan going 12th. She hasn't gone yet.
Support, great trust, and the only thing I want to do is make him proud, knowing that I'm doing this for them.
He had Powell going 10th.
You have a lot of love and support. Over 300 people showed up for your draft watch party in Oceanside, California. Shout out to everybody there who's pouring so much love into you. As you hear your name called tonight, what's the reaction in the room? Share with us that joyful moment, what you're seeing and experiencing there.
Just love, support, excitement, and we're just ready to open my next chapter. And it was just really fun to spend this time with my family, and it's been nothing but joy.
He's got Sunday going 20th to the Indiana.
And you've been so vocal about it and proud of how your family has poured into you. We see you in your traditional.
Did Kosa already go?
What are you so proud of that you can share with us?
No, Kosa's already gone from Russia.
Just for a family unit. I mean, I'm so blessed to be Samoan, and you know, when you think Samoan, you think of family, unity, and togetherness, and that's. And I'm just ready to bring that culture to Atlanta.
Junior Seau is her uncle, Megan Ferrero, the great UCLA pitcher, Fali Abdul that won a national championship in Oklahoma. The whole family's really good at everything they do. Shout out to everybody in Tahiti. We can't wait to watch.
So this is who Hunter Cruz had for the Fever, but Koso's gone.
Well, congratulations.
So I think Sundell's going to get drafted in one of the next two picks.
In the 2025 WNBA draft is
Backup point guard.
for selecting Michaela Timpson from Florida State University. So the first pick to the Indiana Fever is Michaela Timpson from Florida State.
I know Amber Cox and Lynn Dunn are thrilled that this young woman was still available for the Indiana Fever. They were talking about how she plays exactly the way they want to play. She is 6'2" with a 6'10" wingspan. Ryan, she's a rim runner. What is Caitlin Clark like?
She was supposed to go 15th in Minnesota.
She's a rim protector as well. She's quick off the bounce, can get those offensive boards. This young woman has a great chance to stick with the Indiana Fever.
The only player in D1 this past season to average 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 points.
I think they're going to pick Sundell next.
A motor. You mentioned Caitlin Clark, who plays with such a motor. This is a great fit. And it's not about what you said earlier. It's not about what you get picked. It's about where you get picked and how you fit with that team.
Well, speaking of where you get picked and the fit, the Indiana Fever also have the 20th pick, and with that selection, the Fever take Bree Hall.
Bree Hall. She won't make the team.
Another great move when it comes to fit. What did they just do with Michaela Timpson that we talked about, the defensive energy? What is Bree Hall known for? Her defensive presence at South Carolina.
She can't score, though.
Also shoot threes, also space the
I don't know.
has a ton of speed and athleticism. Another great pick for Indiana.
A good culture pick, too. They're so impressed with her leadership that we've seen over the course of her career at South Carolina. And this is a player over 6 games in the NCAA career. Shot over 50.
No one likes Sundell from Kansas State.
She is certainly a weapon from the perimeter.
All right, the 21st pick is in as well. That one belongs to the Los Angeles Sparks for that selection. We head back to the podium, to the commissioner.
It must be Sundell because she hasn't gone yet.
With the 21st pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Los Angeles Sparks select Sanaya Fagan from the University of South Carolina.
Fagan. There was only two people left that wasn't in the room. Sanaya Fagan and Serena Sundell.
Sanaya Fagan exchanging big hugs with her support system, Dawn Staley, and the South Carolina.
They can't even sign one player. They have 3 draft picks and 2 camp contracts. They have 5 people for 1 spot. So
Ryan, you and I did a lot of South Carolina games this year, and every time we watched this young woman play, we would look at one another and say she looks like a pro, and part of that is her size, of course. 6'3", has good length, but all of those other things, yes, she can score inside. She's a terrific high-low passer. She's great passing to the other big on the interior. She has range out to 17 feet. She does the other things. And when you watch South Carolina's practice, the one voice in terms of player voice that you hear more than any other was Sanaya Fagan.
And such a strong finish to her season, 11 points per game over the final.
And I wasn't overly impressed with her when I watched South Carolina play.
Going into her professional
in terms of making it in the WNBA, anyways.
Well, her momentum is on fire. 10 points per game over your last 11 games. You came into your own this season for South Carolina, but you had to trust in the process. You told me that it was
So they can sign one player out of 5, the 3 draft picks, and I guess Janae Brown and the woman they signed from Europe. I forget her name. She's supposed to be good though. Supposed to be a good 6'3" defensive player and rebounder.
I mean, I feel like it helps me a lot. I feel like it helps me as a player and as a teammate just to be vocal and to tell my teammates what it is.
Your family's here tonight. I know
When to become just this year.
I mean, my family means a lot to me. I mean, I wouldn't be here where I am now without them. So just them seeing them there and just supporting me as much as they do.
All right, we'll see you in LA. What a great job. Thanks.
Oh, they won't trade Boston. That's silly.
Joins the show next on ESPN.
They only draft the 16 players that that were invited. The only person that hasn't been drafted yet that was invited is Sundell, that I can figure out, unless I missed it, right?
One lesson stands out. It's not about where you're from. It's where you shoot from.
I don't know. I thought Sundell, she led the country in assists and nobody wants her. I don't know. What do I know?
You can score 4 times points on restaurants around the world.
The Fever only have 2 point guards. What if what's her name gets hurt? I guess that they have a half a position. Let's see. I don't know. What if let me just see their roster.
Now Taxes is having a TurboTax expert who does your taxes from start to finish. Are you checking anytime?
Jillian Aline. She's supposedly she's a 6'2" center. I don't know. Mick thinks she's good. We'll see. It's between her, Jaylen Brown, and the 3 draft picks. What if Sydney Colson gets hurt? Now they have no backup point guard. I don't know. Maybe Jaylen Brown can pass a little. Yeah, Jillian Aline and Jaylen Brown aren't on the team yet.
Preparing for the WNBA draft, hoping to go as the first pick. Hope for 5 years.
I saw the draft and I saw the highlights. That's why I got sold on her.
For Paige Beckers, how amazing, and the #1 overall pick here in the 2025 draft joins the show right now. And I don't know if you've heard, Paige, we have some fans in the building here at the Shed in Hudson Yards.
It's a perfect fit.
Back at that. And, I mean, it's got to be unbelievable to see you say that in 2019 as a young.
Mick has said this changes everything about 112 times in his videos so far.
And to hear your name called with that first overall pick.
Yeah, just extremely grateful for the whole journey since that moment where that video was made, the entire 5 years since then. The ups and downs, the everything, the relationships, the experiences, the bonds that I built. It's just been amazing, and I want to trade it for the world. So to be where my feet are tonight, to share this moment with the people that I love, it just means everything.
We've seen you at WNBA games. I know you've been a WNBA fan for a long time. What are you most looking forward to on the court? Whether it's people you might play with or people you might play against here in your first season.
Yeah, just competing at an extremely high level. You always dream to get to the WNBA, the highest stage of basketball.
Were the favorite players in the arena? Because not all of them are in the arena.
And Liv, and then everybody, honestly, so excited.
You know, Paige, we've talked about your game all season. We all have so much to say about your game, but for the Dallas fans watching, for the W fans watching,
Yeah, they didn't want Lucy Olsen.
You're bringing to the WNBA.
Just a selfless leader.
I don't think Bree Hall's going to make the Fever. But
and somebody who plays with so much heart and passion, so much love for the game. And
isn't Lucy Olsen one of the top 20 players? I'm confused.
Obviously, you know, there's been anticipation about the moment you just had with Connecticut and winning that.
And Serena Sundell led the country in assists, and she has pretty good stats.
Like in Connecticut, the culmination of this career, this journey, and experiencing that peak.
Extremely fun, bittersweet. Sometimes I just start crying because like it's over. But just super happy that it even happened and that the whole journey, the relationships, experiences, like I've talked about. But it's been a whirlwind. A lot of late nights, early mornings.
She's 6'2".
But man, extremely grateful. We're on a great team.
Point guard.
Congratulations on a historic collegiate career, and now a big night starting your professional life as the #1 overall pick in the 2020.
She had 7.3 assists, only 2.9 turnovers. She shot 50% from the field, 32% from threes.
The Chicago Sky at 22. They take Aisha Coulibaly from Texas A&M. Lucy Olsen from Iowa goes 23 to Washington. Meanwhile, Delia Daniels from Washington goes to Minnesota at 24. And Rhea Marshall, who had so many impressive moments for USC in the NCAA tournament, felt like she just kept peaking and raising.
So what happened to Serena Sundell? She's not getting drafted. Wow. Did she play for like a Kansas City Wildcats? Are they a bad team? Like, she played for in the Big 12. Is that what the problem is? She's. That was drafted. Well, all the picks went pretty quickly.
Please bring me the juju.
Olsen went to Mystics, huh?
Check this out.
Wow.
All right.
Good, but I just wanted to make sure my car has coverage.
Oh, you don't need me. You need, like a good neighbor. State Farm is there.
The State Farm agent can help you choose the right coverage and a price is right for you.
Did he really make it a two-way race?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. At AT&T, we confidently guarantee our network.
Yeah, we have 6,200. It hasn't grown in the off season, so hopefully during the season we'll grow again. We'll do a lot of pregame. We'll do a lot of game summaries and stuff. Oh, Sundell went to Seattle. I missed it. I was gonna say, when did she go? I missed it. All right. Let me look at the draft. I fell asleep or something. I don't know what happened. Oh, she went 26. She just got drafted. Wow. She was supposed to go in the top 16. She's probably disappointed. Be interesting to see if she makes the league.
This is that Sprouts feeling.
Enjoy 5-star savings on customer favorites today at Raymore Flanagan. Save up to $1,000 on sectionals, including the top-rated Cityscape. Plus, get $600 off power sofas. Don't miss deep discounts on top-rated items.
She went to Seattle.
This job requires a college degree. Any degree.
Oh, so what is their point guard situation? You need to be a CC homer. Looking for the CC homer. I am a CC homer. What are you talking about? How much more of a CC homer could I be without being dishonest?
Members of the WNBA family, including Los Angeles Sparks forward Sophia Jackson took part in a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the sixth-school campus and then hit the court to help lead students.
Let me see what Seattle's
and junior WNBA clinic and other wellness programming. Time to get the next pick in this 2025 WNBA draft. The 26th selection is in, and for that, we go back to the podium to the commissioner, the Seattle Storm selection.
Oh, we're way behind.
With the 26th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft,
She's the only one in the room.
Seattle Storm select Serena Sundell.
So she already knows she's being picked. Well, she was probably expecting to go earlier. She was one of the top 16 they invited.
Not when, but where. And Serena Sundell goes to a place that has quite the history of successful guards in the Seattle Storm.
And a place that needs a combo guard, and that's what Serena Sundell can be. This is a young woman at 6'2", led the nation in assists per game this past season.
How'd she go 26?
7.5 assists a game. Her coach Jeff Mitty said we could play to her and we could play through her. And with her size, she's very good at getting in the post and posting up smaller guards. And where she is truly remarkable is her.
She doesn't look happy.
When she does get the ball on the block. This is a young woman who has a versatile skill set.
I think she expected to go in the top 16 because they invited her.
9 double-figure assist games this season. She had an NCAA tournament game where she has 19 points and 14 assists on the road on the big stage. She's got the mid-range.
I've never seen her play, so.
Like you said, Rebecca, to find her teammates. We've already talked about this Seattle Storm being one that has really strong pieces, and they add another one here with Serena Sundell.
Two-time first team All Big 12. Career highs in scoring and assists.
I think it's because she played in the Big 12.
Serena is with Holly.
Well, Rebecca Lobo just said this. It's not when, but where. And this is a great fit for you with your skill set. Tell me what it's like to hear your name called and know you're going to such a great team.
Yeah, I'm just excited, full of gratitude, excited to be on this big stage and for the opportunity that's about to come.
Your brother had an interesting situation. He's now playing for, I think it's the Seattle Seahawks. So that kind of worked out, right?
I would say so, yes. My parents are thrilled. I'm thrilled. It'll be perfect, yes.
He was undrafted and had to make a team. What have you learned from him about how you could go in and make this roster?
Yeah, I think that's just an incredible story. All you need is one opportunity.
You want dishonesty? Well, you're not going to get that from me.
You just got your opportunity tonight. I can't wait to watch you make the most of it.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you.
Serena Sundell is headed to the Seattle Storm. Meanwhile,
Well, that's not me. I thought Chrissy Sides would be fired. Rob didn't think she'd be fired. You talking about Robin, I guess?
Excited to see at the next level, and you're going to break down what she might bring to the professional level after a really historic collegiate career, both at Virginia Tech and then at Kentucky.
Yeah, certainly Georgia Amore, a player we expect to make the roster. Serena Sundell, let's make no mistake, she can make that Seattle Storm roster. They have the room and they have the need for her. So a third-round pick who certainly can make their roster. But yeah, we look at Georgia.
All right, I'm done.
Who can simply get her shot off? That's the question. How is she going to get it?
All right, you guys, I don't care about the rest of the picks.
She is so
Whoever they, when do the Fever pick again? I guess so.
Three defenders came, escape right, and then a little step to the left. That's where she can create so much space when she goes to that left.
They got another pick?
Again, what do you do with her? Oftentimes, it draws multiple defenders. She splits the screen, has a big defender coming to her, still able to waft it up and score inside. Once again, how is she going to manipulate the defense? 37 feet away from the basket, you have to come out on her. She's going to see the
Fever's 33rd, and this guy thinks they're going to draft Latu King, power forward from Notre Dame. So who cares who they draft? All right, I'm going to sleep.
She is going to be able to navigate, draw more defense, find open teammate, and deliver them the basketball.
I couldn't give you any more Caitlin Clark without. How much Caitlin Clark can I give you? My God, that's all I talk about.
She can't defend for me because I can't have her getting into but certainly she can.
All right, then I'm going to sleep because this is all boring after this. I will be interested in how Sundell does. She was the one they got went like 10 spots later than they thought she was going to go.
Dallas taking JJ Quinterly out of West Virginia. How about Leah
Oh, she's gone.
an outstanding season at Notre Dame.
These are going fast.
To LA and Madison Connor, the sharpshooter for TCU.
Ah, so King is gone.
To the Seattle Storm. Drea, I know
Madison Connor can hit the butt.
Citron, the number 3 overall pick guy, who also landed with Washington.
Well, you heard Georgia Amore say she's always wanted to play with Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen. And when we talk about Sonia Citron, her high basketball IQ, the ability to impact.
All right. See you guys later.
We were all in the building at 4.
I don't